is a strong contender because they have Xiao 8, and he's very known for his leadership skills in a team, and he makes very good calls in general for a captain, and he has the experience of a ex-champion. I mean, he was a champion last year, so it's a very good factor to add towards a team.
Yeah, that's true. Is there any other reason do you think that's concrete that people are kind of putting LGD on a pedestal right now?
The young plus old combination. They have new player, which is maybe their mid player, and they have experienced players, which is Xiao 8, and the rest of the 4 players are all very experienced, except for maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a really important recipe for success. Yeah, like Arteezy and Puppy, for example, and I like a lot of these teams just have super new players, Sumail and Fear.
Yeah.
I mean,
the mid players are all new.
Yeah, Ketchikimba.
Huh. Yeah. Now that you guys mention it. Yeah. Of course, you brought up parts of Team Secret. I mean, that's no surprise. Everyone has been talking about Secret for quite some time. But yeah, what about EG? I mean, that's kind of been a contention, especially in the West, right? EG versus Secret, who's eventually going to win out. Recently, Secret's definitely been on top continuously, but EG's had their fair share of success this year. Where do you think EG's going to fare?
I think they're pretty much a safe bet for top 8. For top 4, I think they're very likely. And then
top 2?
It's difficult to say. Yeah. I think, of course it is. Like that's the easy answer, right? But I would personally say EG. I don't really want to name a top 2 at all.
Fair.
I'll name a top 4 for me, and then
fair enough.
Whoever places where is really difficult. I think Secret's going to be there. I think EG will be there. I think Vici Gaming will be there.
Okay.
And I think Empire will be the 4th one, actually.
Ooh.
So I don't put LGD up so high. I still think they will definitely make top 8, and I think top 6 probably from my perspective. But I have really high hopes for Empire this year. I think this is going to be their time. Historically I could be horribly wrong, but I do believe they're prepared this time around.
Yeah, well, we will get to see 2 Empire matches on the main stream today, so that's got to be pretty exciting for you.
So I'll be wrong very early.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, but I mean, in general, even at ESL in Frankfurt, people were saying it was a little bit of a surprise Empire couldn't make it through and show up to play, of course, at the main event. But there has been a lot of high expectations for the team, I think, not just from you, but from a lot of people that have been following the team quite well. But again, I think you bring up a good point. Of course, first of all, it's top 16 in the world, like for TI, every time you know it's going to be the top tier of the top tier Dota. And at the same time, we discussed this yesterday, right? 2 weeks of events. It's very different from whether it's a 3-day line event or like a 3-month season event. Teams are going to adapt. They're going to have ample time to adapt for teams that usually don't perhaps do well at kind of the weekend lands, we could say. At the same time, teams like Team Secret, when you have that bullseye on your back, you have to have a lot more prepared when you're going to play that many more matches. So that'll be something exciting for the main stream. Now we will be going into LGD versus Cloud9. We already talked a little bit about LGD. Where is Cloud9 though right now? I mean, obviously Cloud9 has a pretty big following in general just because of brand name and also players. But at the same time, some people feel that maybe that kind of following hasn't really been met with the same expectations and results recently.
I chatted a little bit with Conrad, and he seemed very comfortable that their team was in a good place after ESL. ESL probably not the best tournament for them. Bone 7 wasn't with them for the preliminary part, and then they got eliminated in the first round. And that's probably not good for your hopes if that's your last land going into TI. But yeah, they seem very comfortable. I actually have a lot of faith in this team. I think Cloud9 is going to be top 8 and probably top 6, even though historically they've been a little bit hit or miss. But
they were 6th last year, right?
Yes, they are matched up versus LGD in the first round, so I think that is the match to watch.
Okay, fair enough. We already talked about the 3 matches going on today, but just in case some people weren't able to take a look at the entire top 16 before we move on, let's take a quick look at the groups before we jump into our matches, of course. Group A, so we did have the 2 wildcard teams, so let's talk about that. We had CDEC and then MVP Phoenix yesterday seeding into Group B and Group A respectively, and then you can see the rest there. Some people arguing that Group A perhaps a little bit harder, but not by a huge margin.
Tiny bit.
Just a little bit, right, Winter? Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, I would assume that's probably because of certain team names that we see in Group A, like Secret. But at the same time, I mean, Group B, there's definitely some big hopefuls on that side too. So I think it'll be a good, well, at least for the group stage, it will be a week, and then we'll see where everyone seeds. And then next week for the main stage, we'll see how things play out in the upper and lower brackets. So going back to Cloud9, though. you were saying, all right, overall, I mean, obviously different scenario than the other lands, especially very recently. You said Conrad feels a little bit better. Winter, what do you think about Cloud9?
I think they are a team that, for me, strikes me that they are in the middle of the pack, the middle of the everything. But at the same time, they have the potential to be at the top, or something might go wrong and, you know.
I think that's for a lot of teams, though. I think the variance is just really
it's
high.
really difficult to say for them. But I think, in general, I would like to have this feeling about Cloud9 that they're actually in the middle of the pack, probably top 8, like 6 to 8 would be fair for them.
Okay.
But they have the potential to go up.
Right, like
or
if they
down.
really show up and they could really reach high. Now, Ben, you were mentioning that, okay, speaks for a lot of teams, right? Some teams are going to show up super hard. Some teams may have flops, and that's unfortunate. Are there any teams that you can say definitely stand out because they're much more stable at a higher than average level?
EG for sure.
Okay.
I actually think EG can take a lot of games off Secret. The few times that we saw them meet up, ESL, Dota Pit, EG was able to take a lot of games, and that's no small feat considering Secret has this impressive run during 2015. So I view them as one of the most consistent teams, and they might not be as wild in their drafting as Secret, but they're just so good at what they do. Even if it's predictable, it's still very hard to play against.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, so the whole matchup at ESL, which is of course the last time we saw EG playing against Secret, at least in a LAN setting. It is the last time we saw them play.
Yes, in a LAN setting for sure.
That series went to 4 out of 5 games, and I think the 4th game EG actually had under control, and then they made a crucial mistake, and Secret took full advantage of that. But that series could have easily gone 5 games, and then who knows, right? I think those two teams are very closely matched, even though Secret has won the last couple of times. So I would definitely agree. Secret and EG are the two standout stable teams. And I would have put Vici Gaming up there if not for the last month, or the last 2 months, I guess. The last 2 months, they just haven't been looking as stable as they used to, because before that, they were like always top 3. And we'll see if they bring it back this year.
All right.
I think they will.
So Cloud9, we talked a little bit about that. Of course, LGD, you guys mentioned kind of why people are expecting them to be the best. Now, TI, though, obviously this is where most players will say they put it all on the line. I mean, this is where it all comes down to. This is a moment that every player has been living up to. And we've had a chance to meet players from all of the teams, of course, before TI has kicked off. But for our very first match, we've got a little bit of a highlight for one of many people's favorite players on Cloud9. It's going to be No Tail.
Johan started very early as a child, almost just walking. He played Game Boys.
He was extreme clever, quiet, and he was just living in his own world. I always said that if I could duplicate Johan, I have 10 more children.
I remember in high school, he found out he wanted to play Dota full-time.
Right there, I met some friction between especially me and my mom, but also my dad. I think they were a bit disappointed because games in their time was only related to something you actually pay to do, not something you can ever get paid for doing.
He's very, very talented in the ways of gaming. Like, any game he plays, he's actually really good at. Like, it's actually pretty scary.
So I forced myself to think different, because when he's that good, there will be a place for Johan. Of course there will.
In a game like Dota, you need to have a clear mind to do the right decisions. I admire how calm he is all the time, and he's very good at not only looking at his perspective, but others as well.
For all the new players, I'd only suggest that you try to understand other people, try to learn empathy. This, to me, is what can make a really talented, great player an amazing teammate to have.
Normal people do have this filter, and they only say what you want to hear, but that's not Johan. You always got the truth when you're around Johan.
And he always makes time for me and his family and Pumba. He loves his dog very much.
He never get a dog because his father says no. But when Johan was 15 years old, his mother said, now you will have your own dog.
My dog, Pumba, he taught me like what I am. In today's world, it's all about presenting yourself to be something that you probably aren't. Like you're not this person that goes to party every weekend, but you want to look like this person. You can't do that kind of facade to a dog. You can't be fake. My biggest inspiration is Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. A lot of people laugh when I say it because it is kind of a funny nickname that he has. But then again, people laugh at one of my nicknames, so we got that in common.
What nickname do people laugh at of yours?
Big Daddy. At the moment, I'm being a bit selfish because I put my heart and soul into Dota, and I'm doing it mostly for myself because I feel like I have to be able to achieve my goal.
When I picked him up last year after TI, the first thing he told me that I have made my decision. Next year I will be a part of the final. Sorry.
He won this since he was a little boy, and I'm gonna cry. I just love him so much, and he has to go for his dream, and I'll be there supporting him.
Every time you generally just reflect back, then you also ask yourself, is this really important? I think it can be. I think it can be great to have won TI and to have set the goal and to have reached the goal. I think I would be feeling very, very empowered, feeling like I could do anything.
That was No Tail of Cloud9. And yeah, I mean, quite a story. Of course, I mean, No Tail, he's been known to have a lot of quotables, you know, in his career throughout. But I mean, he said some really impressive things. I think the way he put it, one thing that really struck out to me was we all talk about it, but how he said back in their time, gaming was the thing that you paid to do and not something that you could ever get paid to do. But now it has flipped. Of course, we do have professionals here at TI being paid, and also, of course, they're playing for, you know, a sizable sum in prize money. But I mean, what did you guys think after that No Tail video? He's, of course, talking about his dog. I mean, he's a likable guy after that video.
He's such a good role model. I think the overall vibe that I got from the video is like very happy. Everyone around him is just, you know, very exuberant and relaxed and calm and happy, and that's just a great thing to have in a Dota player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Winter, anything strike to you about No Tail's video?
Well, you know, when we first started playing, everyone was like walking in this tunnel, and you have no idea when the light is going to come. And that's how we all started. And right now, like in the video mentioned, we are getting paid to do what we love, you know. So it's, of course, a great thing to have at this moment.
No, I think for a lot of players, of course, it's an emotional moment, not only to play at TI, but if you go to the finals, like he said, and his parents, you could see that they felt it too. I mean, they never really probably understood what it meant to him until now, where he's like, I want to be on that final. And if he gets there, his mother is saying that, all right, I would probably cry if he was up there, and it would be a very emotional moment. So again, a lot on the line, but it's not just No Tail. I mean, this story permeates for all 10 players that we're going to have in our first match against Cloud9 versus LGD. Now, just to note, as we jump into the first draft, yesterday we had all best of 3s for the wildcard play-ins, but starting in the group stage, it is best of 2s. So it's a point system. If you win 2-0, you get 3 points. If you tie 1-1, you each take 1 point. And of course, the loser, if it's a 0-2, you get 0 points. So that's how we will have standings at the end of the week. Draft has started for our very first match, LGD versus Cloud9. This is how we are kicking off TI5 Day 1. Let's jump into the draft and see what we're going to find out. If we see anything new from either of these teams. We saw some interesting things during the wildcard play-ins yesterday, so I'm sure we can look forward to some fresh picks, or at least something, you know, that deviates from what the teams have played in the past.
I think going into the group stages now, there are going to be different priorities for the teams. Yesterday we saw actually very diverse picks. I was very impressed with how many heroes got picked by all the teams in the wildcard round. But I think, for example, for a team like Cloud9, they generally have a different approach to the metagame than I would say all of the teams we saw yesterday do. We already see it here. They're first banning a Clockwork against LGD, which I don't think is their general first phase priority, but it's just a hero they deem worthy of a first phase ban against LGD in particular.
I think that's the reason for that ban was because mainly the Chinese team, sometimes they give away Lash Rock if you have first pick, and they reply with a Clockwork. They view Clockwork as a way of dealing with Lash, because you hook shot in with a Blade Mail. It's a very good way of dealing with the Lash. So most of the Chinese teams, when they tend to give up Lash, they would actually go for the Clockwork in return.
So you think in some ways this was Cloud9 preemptively forcing LG to ban Lash afterwards, which they did?
I think Cloud9 likes having Lash. I don't think they would be scared to pick that hero.
I think that's the reason why, because
they banned it to force a Lash ban.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, okay. So they banned it because they figured maybe LGD has that trick up their sleeves, because the Chinese teams tend to. All right, well, that's a nice look into it. Afterwards, we do have SF and then Nagasiren being banned out, and Undying first pick.
Pretty surprising
for
Cloud9.
That
is surprising for me.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit surprising for all of us, for Cloud9 specifically, right? I mean, for other teams, we talked yesterday. I mean, not surprising at all to see it yesterday in the wildcard plans.
Yeah, I actually expected a Tusk first pickup, especially
Yes.
because Yao is, I think, very well known to play it. I'm surprised that they gave it away, but I think Bone 7, again, we discussed this before, he has a little bit of an unconventional view as to how to approach picks. He picks unusual offlaners for himself. He picks Envy, sometimes pretty unusual carries. I think they like, tend towards stuff like Luna a lot, even when she's not very popular, and even very different mids for Fada. So overall, their draft is going to be a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's one thing that LGD play good Tusk, but I think Cloud9 do as well. They love playing it on no-tail.
Yes.
They are going to let it go and get the Queen of Pain instead. This looks like what could potentially be the makings of an aggressive dual lane. The Quap Undying lane is actually very powerful.
Quap plus Undying is very strong. Even against a lane that is like a Gyros lane, Quap and Undying could potentially deal a lot of damage in the lane if LGD somehow have a very weak lane support with the Gyro.
Okay, well, Winter, yesterday we talked about, I mean, especially 3 of these heroes, right? Undying, Gyro, and then Quap, as you guys just mentioned. But what does Cloud9 need to either pick or ban here to make sure that they can secure that setup for the Undying? Or do they now just worry about that separately? All right, we've got that duo set up, then let's look at how we want to round out the rest of the team.
I think they might actually go for a lineup that actually fights very well because they have Tusk and Gyro. I think when you have those 2 heroes, you're not too afraid of going into the Tombstone. If you have somewhat a decent laning phase and you can start taking towers maybe at minute 10 to 15, like all the tier 1 towers. So if you want to go to a fighting route, maybe you can go for supports that are actually like a team fight type of supports, like Witch Doctor, Earthshaker, this type of supports.
Okay. Well, going on with our bans, DK Anti-Image and then Viper being banned out. So take a look at Cloud9. Looking, No-Tail looking a little bit relaxed. Their first game in all of TI. And looking fairly relaxed. Same with LGD, of course. Not too much pressure. I mean, yeah, every point matters, but at the same time, nothing has been decided yet. Everyone's still at ground zero, right? Everyone's at 0 points, so you can try to feel things out in this best of 2.
Interesting to see Cloud9 ban out 2 heroes that technically could work with their draft as well, right? Both Dragon Knight and Viper actually fit very well together with Undying because they peak around the same time. They want to go and push towers. Viper's a good mech carrier. Dragon Knight with Dragon Form, of course, good at taking down tier 1s especially.
Do you think
so maybe they're taking it in a different direction then?
Yeah, do you think it might be a throw-off? Like we pick Undying, then we go for some split push thingy instead of when you pick Undying.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, you usually think, okay, Undying, they're going to go 5-man. Then they pick Undying, then they have some quarters, some sort of split push lineup to throw the opponent off.
What about Phoenix? I think they like Phoenix a lot.
Yeah. Oh, Phoenix plus Tombstone is
like
really
Tombstone.
strong together.
It's incredibly powerful.
I haven't seen them pick it up too much recently, but I think a couple of months ago they just picked that hero first pick every single time.
And I expect the Undying to be more or less a support, played by No-Tail, more or less, most likely him.
There's still the option of running a Pugna if they wanted to try that together with the Undying.
the decrep
that
on the
is
Tombstone.
Crepifying the Tombstone, pushing towers with Nether Blast is really good. Alternatively, maybe Cloud9 pick up the Undying, like you said, to throw the enemy off, but rather than playing a split push strategy, they actually just pick the Undying so the enemy immediately thinks, oh right, they're going to run aggressive, they're going to try to pressure our safe lane, and then you can just pick a super hard carry because the enemy has already started drafting a defensive safe lane, and then you just try to outcarry them with, say, like a PL for Envy, or maybe the Luna Ben was talking about could be pulled out, and she can actually get farmed incredibly fast if she doesn't get challenged. Her weakness is her how fragile she is in the super early laning stage, but if you can get over that, you obviously have a very powerful pushing carry at, say, minute 25. So that could be something they're looking at here. Undying is also great for the safe lane tri lane, by the way. In case the enemy wants to challenge, you're not in a bad position either.
Okay, so Cloud9 definitely having a lot more options here in terms of which style or which strategy they want to go for, which composition. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, in the next couple picks, we'll find out. I mean, you kind of have to show your hand at this point for
Winter,
Cloud9.
yesterday you mentioned that you don't really like the Undying versus Gyrocopter matchup. Do you feel differently about it this game?
If you play it as a support and you have another plan, it's fine. I mean, I personally feel like
the lion.
Okay, the lion there, but I feel like if you are doing Undying, like what I meant was Undying with a heavy push threat against Gyro, I wouldn't recommend that.
Right, yeah, and yeah, you were talking about that earlier today too. I mean, depends on how they want to do it.
What you're doing with the Undying, yeah.
All right, well, the Lion's been a talking point for us here all day yesterday. But I would say Lion's proven himself quite a bit yesterday in terms of his value.
Yeah, any AoE ability to follow up after the Tusk Snowball is really important. Generally, teams prefer a safer one like Earthshaker, but I think Misery is really, really good on the Lion. He has proven time and time again. I think he's actually one of the best Lions.
Yeah, and it's a great pick, in my opinion, against Dazzle, because usually Dazzle wants to shallow grave as late as possible.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, you get that 475 damage nuke just coming in from the Lion when you don't expect it, and you can't hit your grave timing. That is very crucial against a hero like Gyrocopter, where a lot of the time, I think we also saw this yesterday in the wildcard round, actually, Dazzle and Gyro got drafted together to protect the Gyro so that even if he gets jumped, he will still be able to get call down, all his flat cannon attacks off before he dies. If you catch him off guard, like the Cloud9 lineup here just bursts incredibly hard. Soul Rip, Sonic Wave, and Finger is about 1,000 damage just between those three abilities. So he needs to be on his toes with the Dazzle this way.
The Xiao 8 special.
Support Lina?
Yeah.
Do you think that's support?
Might actually be Lina plus Tusk in the lane though.
Yeah, they actually run that pretty often in the off lane.
It's very strong. Like
doesn't maybe
disrupting
play
the farm.
core Lina? Because it's a good matchup against Quap.
Yeah.
If they think
They
the
do,
Quap is
yeah.
mid, and I think they might still expect
There's options.
that
Basically, there's
yesterday.
options. There's a lot of options
Yeah.
with this Lina pick.
I think they want to see for sure what Fada's hero is before, because they almost always wait for EE's heroes last, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you look at the first 3 picks from LGD, it's mostly like a lot of physical damage. So Lina is like sort of balances things out with that magic damage as well. So I mean, okay, so this should be Envy's hero, Razor safe lane. This is what I've seen from them recently as well.
Can it stand up to a Lina Tusk though?
With a Lion, I'm worried actually. I'm always worried when there's a Lion on my lane.
Oh, we have been all day yesterday too, Winter. I guess we got proven wrong once or twice. Of course, it's very situational and very dependent on the game, but gotta have faith if you're gonna. I mean, at some point you do have to take certain chances, right? And if you have faith that your players can be like, all right, Mister, you are one of the best Lions. We're just gonna trust that you can pull out the best value out of Lion this game, because you guys were talking about this. If you get the highest potential out of a hero or a team, then that could really flip the game on its head. It's a risk reward.
It's more important to cater, I think, to what your players are best at,
Right.
as opposed to what you think is best for this current patch. Same with Lina for LGD.
Yeah.
Lina is not commonly picked. I mean, she's picked now and then, but LGD picks her far more often than any other team, I
Right.
would say.
What are LGD missing? So I personally think it's a mid Lina still. I don't think there's a bad matchup for her here. There's generally not a bad matchup for Lina mid. She doesn't really lose hard to anything.
Viper,
that
I would think.
Maybe,
but
yeah,
Viper's
Viper's
banned
actually
out.
banned. So
They actually Cloud9 actually think it's it's a support Lina, and they're right. It's
Yeah.
gonna be another
Wow, I was
Ember.
about to ask. I mean, yeah, assuming.
that could still be a core Lina, right? They could run an aggressive
Plus
trial in with Ember.
okay,
that was
plus
done
support.
yesterday. Dazzle, Ember, Tusk is actually pretty decent. Or they could run Dazzle, Dazzle, Tusk, Gyro, which is a really powerful tri lane. But that would put their Ember safe lane one-on-one, which he
No,
doesn't
I
want
would
against
You
these
generally don't
heroes.
want Ember
Yeah.
to go unprotected.
We'll see.
I'd say
It's probably more likely.
Yeah, it's probably a safe lane Ember. Sorry, not safe lane Ember. I mean a core Ember.
Okay. Well, so Cloud9, I mean, do you think Cloud9 has to base it off of one of those? Like, do they have to choose which option they're going to base their last pick off of? Or for them, what are they missing, right? Because they've got the Lion. Obviously, they've
I
got
think
the Undying.
they're
Yeah.
actually missing strong lanes.
Missing a tank as well, I feel. They need another tank.
Razor
Right.
doesn't suit that job, or Undying.
Or
I
you
feel
think it's
they
just too
would
middle
be,
ground?
It would be nice if they have Bristleback. Though. It's just a feeling. Just a feeling.
After watching yesterday.
I think the problem for Cloud9 is going to be, it looks like, so when you have Razor and Undying together, you have this feeling that the game plan for the team is to try to push down towers at like minute 20 or 25, and it just seems super difficult to do against the Radiant lineup. There's Call Down, Ice Shards, Dragon Slave, Sleight of Fist, and you even get Woven. If you start grouping up together to try to push the tower, Dazzle is going to thwart your efforts. So, and in addition to that, the Radiant lineup, with especially Ember, can actually put pressure on the map while defending. So
Okay.
you force them back. Oh, this is really interesting. This is a hero we haven't seen for a very long time.
some
But
time.
it's, in my opinion, Bone 7's absolute best hero.
Yes.
Second, or his Clockwork, I guess, is second to his Bat Rider, which is also very,
his
very
Bat Rider
good.
is
His Bat
like,
Rider
amazing.
is-
Bat Rider, Clock,
incredible.
and Broodmother are 3 of his strongest heroes.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I haven't seen anyone play it in I would say, months.
yeah, I mean, quite
It's
some
been a
time.
long time.
But Bat Rider, I mean, everyone talks about how Bat Rider always finds his way back in at some point or another. But there we go, Bat Rider rounding things out for Cloud9. Winter, I mean, we talked a little bit about that. Where do you think, how is this all rounding out for Cloud9? Because we were talking so much about where does this Undying go and what's the strategy here?
It's very strong lineup, Bat plus Undying, Ulasso, and go into the Tombstone. So they have a very formidable team fight, I'd say. But LGD do have ways to actually save the guy. Like there's Grave and there's Snowball. So we'll see how it plays out.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is game 1, the very first game of TI5 in the first day as we go into the group stage. Top 16, it's going to be Cloud9 versus LGD in a best of 2.
We still have to keep in mind, though, he's going to have issues coming into the Gyro, the Tuskar, as well as the Ember. Like, even if you snowball, you could just lose everything you're looking for.
Definitely.
So it's not going to be an easy game for Bone7 by any stretch of the imagination.
We'll see how that works out for the Batrider.
Yep. But right now, let's get ourselves into the game so we can welcome in our mainstream viewers. If you're joining us now, joining the people in Dota TV, I am W1, joined by Waga doing LGD, going up against Cloud9. Game number 1 here of our group stage. 3 games going on at the same time, but we are your pairs here on the mainstream.
Yeah, really excited for LGD versus C9. I'm really happy we get to cast this. We get to cast a lot of C9 games. We do. And we also have 2 IG games coming up later today. And we will cast plenty of them throughout the group as well.
It is heaven for a caster here at TI4.
It's so nice.
So many top quality teams, so many great matchups. There's never really a disappointing matchup.
Just barely seeing each other a little bit there as they run into each other. He saw the Tuskar. He also saw the army that was running in. At least the Queen and Batrider. The rest managed to sneak down.
It's kind of interesting that Cloud9 are doing this too, because when you look at LGD's lineup, their level 1 team fight's actually really good.
Oh, yeah. But
up against Cloud9's Undying, however, you probably have second thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Both teams have very strong level 1, in fact, but I think they may have said, like, oh, LGD have really strong team fights. They're probably going to go up and contest our jungle, so let's just ward their jungle, and that is the trade-off. So both teams blocking the opponent single pull, or the safe pull.
Yeah.
So no small camps until they deward that.
However, C9 are a little bit late coming up to the top rune, so they're going to have to take the bottom, which is going to go to Fader, and the top. Smart decisions here by Big Daddy No-Tail as well as Bone7. No reason to contest that top rune. However, Yao might be in trouble on bottom lane. He Shadow Strikes into the Earth Spike as well. Yeah, he's got no escape. He does have 2 stick charges and the Shadow Strike's ticking him down. He won't die from this until the Plasma Field will arrive. Yao has to actually trigger the salve quickly and the stick charges. He'll survive only just, but as you said, consumables being burned.
At what cost, Toby? That's terrible for him. 100 HP, 3 tangos available now, but his salve is gone, and Misery is not going to be going easy on him. He's got to keep him completely out of experience, and maybe
he's actually dead.
Maybe
Misery, is that enough? One more attack.
Oh,
there it comes, and he snowballs and avoids it. He's
dead.
Still going up to Misery, which means he's going to die. One more attack. There it is. First blood spilt by Cloud9 after it's been a thawing experience for a Tuskar.
Yeah, and that means he has to purchase a TP scroll as well, so a disastrous start for him. And they also do not get the instant D-ward LGD. They are not going to be having the pull on bottom lane.
This is when you start looking towards your other lanes to try and pull it back for LGD. But top lane, not going to be an easy place, especially when you got 2 napalm stacks into the decay with the body block from No-Tail. Bone7, now 3 stack. Sylar, how much more damage is there? Another decay in 1 second.
So
it's going to be another one. He's salving up quickly. The decay, he'll stay alive. No-Tail, he's in so deep with the creep wave into the trees. No-Tail, there's your burst heal from MMY. Sylar in the tree line. No-Tail's going to go down way too deep on the top lane. And LGD gets something very big back.
Yeah, punished by the Dazzle there and how well he could just keep healing there, running after. And despite not having Rocket Barrage level 1, Gyrocopter does survive there.
And you're just seeing such aggression in all the lanes, even down at the bottom with the Plasma Field from Envy and Misery. They're just getting up in the face of Yao and Xiao Wei, and they know they can't really return the fight until Yao commits the snowball, and then you get the stun time to set up for the Light Strike Array. Then you've got your burst combo. But can you kill anyone down here apart from, well, Misery?
I think it's really tough, actually, and he's going to stand in pretty safe positions in general. I mean, Lina can trade effectively against a Lion. She has a little bit better trading hits, better range and harassment, but they can't do much against the Razor. As you said, he's just going to be free farming, and they don't have the pull.
Here
he gets the snowball.
This is going to be it. Xiao Wei, he actually only has Slave, though, so Misery just backs himself up. There's no follow-up stun. And they do actually just activate the bounty rune on that leader.
They're so under-experienced. If they just had level 2 on these 2 heroes, that would have been an easy kill. But
it's not as bad, though. You got Notal, who's just shy of level 2. It's the same thing for the Lina. And then the Tusker, yeah, he's pretty low as well. But the Lion's only just cracked level 2 and he's back at base, so he's not getting experience for a while now.
Yeah, that is true. So both teams suffering a lot on their safe lane right now, but I can see Envy go aggressive again on Yao here, but a stun should just disjoint him here. I don't think he can keep chasing.
It didn't steal that much damage either, even with the 2 points up in Static Link.
Yeah.
What do you actually like about the build here for the Razor? Like, what's the best thing up against the lineup?
I think he will leave it at 2 points. I don't think he's going to max the Static Link. This is very common. You put 2 points into it. Now 2 more points in Plasma Field, so at level 5 you have 3 points into it. Or just 1 point into Unstable Current. But Plasma Field is super strong nuke. You can see how much damage it deals there.
Yeah. Easily forces Lina out. And what's Yao going to do against this?
Yeah.
Like, Sticks are the only reason he's staying in this lane. Top lane, Notal committing the Tombstone. They're on the run. The Flame Break, pushing Sylar back so far, but they just have no stuns available anymore. So Sylar TPs himself away to freedom.
That's still good harassment. They're pushing them off and now securing their safe lane a little bit. Mid lane aggression. Lion coming in. Actually going to bring down maybe here.
Well, that Sleight of Fist. The shield can't protect him, and the PMS wasn't triggering off enough. So, yeah, easy kill. I say easy kill.
Mystery has had some good rotations on him in this game. Like, first the First Blood, and now also coming in and securing this kill on what up till now was a very even lane. Queen was winning slightly, but now more dominantly going to be able to win this lane, I believe.
That is what you're looking for, too, out of Cloud9, that ability to do the rotations. Xiao always going to be really careful how low he is.
Had at level 3. Plasma Field dealing tons of damage to him.
There's no more mana on the Razor. He expanded his stick charger so he was able to do that Plasma Field. So because of this, SARS is going to give him one of his salve. Actually, it's only a Tango.
They haven't seen the Gyro yet, but he's going to show himself now. But they understand that there are lane switches in work, and Bone7 is very happy with that. He's just free farming top right now.
So they watch the real Misery.
Lion.
Yao, I think he wants to snowball. He didn't pick up MMY. Actually, he's snowballing up and away from Misery. Lost the vision. The shards will still come down. MMY turned into a frog.
Just running.
But he's legging it.
How
and
is
with
he
Envy coming in, he's fine.
Oh, that was...
So the snowball disjointed. He didn't bring the Dazzle with him.
I cannot believe that he's actually alive right now. First the snowball on the... I mean, that was unfortunate, snowballing the incorrect target, but the fact that the ice shards could not keep him in place, man, Misery is just getting away with everything this game.
Man, look at all the lanes as well. Like, you got Bone7 free farming about right at top lane. LGD have dragged everything off the top. They put him into the mid. It looks like Yao finally, like, he got distracted by trying to kill off the Lion, which he didn't get, and now is moving up to the top lane. But the middle laner, it's being crushed by Fader. 19-11 up against a 15-5. Bottom lane, Envy is having a party on the bodies of the dead creeps. It is 29-8 for the Razor.
Yeah.
How is Gyro meant to keep up with this? He's 16-1, and he took most of that from the top lane.
And Gyro's not the best recovery hero either. He normally will sit at a pretty high CS in the early game because he has a strong laning presence, and he will farm stacks very quickly. So... Razor having this good of a start, Batrider as well, and Queen, this is boding very well for C9. Yeah. But as you said on mid lane, the fact that Fada is doing so well, he does have a little bit better of a hero in the one-on-one matchup, but he's also an amazing mid player. He plays really solid.
That he does.
Like, he doesn't lose mid very often at all.
No, we haven't even seen his rotation yet. Like, you're looking at Fader about to crack level 7, so we're going to have the 4 points up in Scream, as well as that Sonic Wave. So the burst damage you get out from Fader is just so big. If he gets himself a good rune, like, would you believe a Haste rune, which is ever so conveniently waiting on bottom lane.
Good old S4 rune, just waiting there.
He's waiting for his bottle to arrive, though. It's coming out in the courier.
Yeah, just gotta stand around. Not much to do for him right now, just waiting for it. They have sent the Tusker top now, and he's gonna try and get something out of this lane as well, realizing that he should be safe to farm there. But you always gotta be careful about Bone7, who did not skill Lasso until level 7, by the way. He just realized I can farm faster if I don't skill Lasso right now, and I'm not gonna gank anyway. So
it's like, is it really needed? I'm not gonna rotate until Blink Dagger, right?
That's a good decision. I mean, there was no point skilling it right then. Always gotta think about why you would do something in Dota.
And okay, LGD. Do we say at this point they've lost all 3 lanes?
Yeah, I think so. Pretty solidly. I mean, now they do have the ulti on Ember though, and some other tools to start bringing this game back, and they are stacking the jungle a lot. Look at the big camp.
You're right, that's a lot of money.
So they have tons of money available. If they pick that up on the Ember and then fight with it,
a little bit too deep. Remember, he's still got the defensive spirits as well as MMY there.
Yeah.
So he'll use the Shallow Grave. I think he was waiting for Fader to throw out the Sonic Wave.
I actually think they should take this on Ember and fight. They could leave the big stack on Gyro. I was thinking about it, which is best, but I think someone has to be strong enough to put up a fight against C9 soon, because this is not going to be a laning stage for much longer. Soon, the movements will start. It's all about the Batrider and his timing, really, and he probably is going to go Travels first this game. He does love to do it instead of Blink.
What, go directly into BTs?
Yeah, that's his most standard build. Is Boots of Travels and then Mask of Madness and then Blink, or Boots of Travel, Blink.
But his first rotation is going to be scouted out. If you actually look at the boarding from LGD, it's really smart. They're waiting for him to come. So these next set of wards they placed, you got one on the mid lane, just on the Radiant Cliff side. Now this will see all the way over towards the mid tier 1 tower, and then the one on the bottom lane is actually looking up to the tier 1 tower on the bot. So the second you bring support in, you'll know it. However, Sylar on the bottom, up against Eternal Envy, lets the call down go. There's more support. The Sonic Wave of the Scream gets the kill, but the Searing Chains, they're still fighting underneath Tombstone. This is not the greatest position in the world. Yao, Money and Snowball actually protect maybe, which he will do so, dragging him up to Eternal Envy. They still haven't finished the kill. 13 HP will survive while Fader picks up a double kill. On the other side, he's actually on the other side of the trees. He'll live and get the kill on Tuskar. LGD just can't get a sausage.
Yeah, and that was 4v3 as well, so the 4 of them could not do it. They have to run away with their mid laner. Man, that was a really tough fight for LGD as well. That first fight had to go well. Now they're going to be in a real tough struggle.
And with those rotations failing, the Batrider flash farming, if you even start to lose control of your jungle, there's no more of these stacks to be had.
No.
You may even lose them. If you do see Bone7 start to rotate and he sees that, he might pick up BT to start with, and then 2-3 minutes later, he'll actually have the whole shebang with the Blink Dagger.
That's the power of the BTs as well. Like, first of all, of course, rotating over the map is much quicker when you have the travels. You get so fast. But also the fact that when you farm with Firefly in the jungle, if you have travels, you can farm 4 camps. That's pretty amazing. So you can definitely steal a lot from the enemy jungle.
Smoke movement from LGD. Looking for an opening on top lane. Misery is the most exposed one. So simple snowball in. He goes for the Earth Spike, trying to get the timing just as they came out of the snowball, but it was a fraction of a second early. So a simple pickoff. There was the Lina who got the last hit in there, so Xiao 8 doing it with the Slave.
Yeah, that was a pickoff that they needed. They need to keep finding these kills. That was 3 heroes committed though, and they only got a support, so it's a good break, but they can't really lane bottom lane at all. And mid lane is also dangerous, so they have to start taking their jungle before Batrider comes in there. That's a very important point. Oh, he went for the Blink Dagger, actually. So, Bone7 going for the more secure gank of a Blink Dagger and Smoke.
Well, you might just feel confident enough that you've got the aggression factor up. It looks like Sylar's going to be the man taking that big stack. Yeah. Both Call Down, Rocket Barrage, and Flat Cannon. They'll mop through it. MMY is going to soak up the experience, and so is Yao.
He also took one Satire last hit there, the dirty little support. I got my eyes on you, MMY.
Well, they got level 6 on Tuskar, so now we've got ourselves an ability to punch over on LGD. Not to mention MMY up to level 5, so 3 points up into the heal. And the Gyrocopter cracked level 7 after this too, and got pretty close to finishing his Bracer.
The tough part...
I mean his drums.
Yeah, the tough part in this game is that Lina is only level 5, and their Tuskar now, of course, has level 6, but these 2 heroes really desperately needs their ultis. So when Lina has hers, I believe they can make some nice ganks. Now they're going to try to kill Misery top again.
Well, hearing that lasso, they're dragging back maybe. He needs a little bit more life, and he's got it! Had one charges up his sleeve. MMY couldn't get in range for the shallow grave. At the same time, they do find that kill over on the Lion. So the smoke gank is successful. Yeah, while C9 not so, and that's the first reveal of the Blink.
Yeah, and that was the first reveal of the Blink and a smoke committed from the Batrider. That gank is super important that it works, and it was very close that they killed Ember. So great there for maybe they actually lived this time, and that's not gonna set back his next item. So.
LGD is going to be so happy with this. Even though you're so far behind, you've got your level 6s you were talking about. You needed that over on the Lina. You've got this. So the gank combo of Xiao and Yao, these guys just move around, never give the space. Misery is just going to crack his own level 6.
Oh, they're the tag team, the 2 of them. Like they can make a lot happen. So right now, just going to see Bone7 farm up the jungle more. Look at the Radiant jungle and how invaded it is. It looks infested right now.
Envy? Okay, yeah, he was already having the link over on maybe, so maybe he wasn't going to commit anymore. But Envy's getting very aggressive into the tier 2 tower.
Yeah. Notice also Envy's build. This is a pretty standard build. You could put 1 point into Eye of the Storm as well, and he might actually do so next. But putting several points into unstable current, being faster and more able to run down the enemy, this is a very strong Razor build.
I think Notel is also pinging out to Envy. It's like, can you please come up here and farm this stack? He's actually stacking the Radiant jungle.
Yeah.
Which is a little dangerous if it gets called out, especially when you get heroes like Jara, even Lina. Lina with like a 3-1. It's not the easiest way to mop up a camp, but it'll be successful.
I'm a little bit worried for the wards that LGD just dropped in the enemy jungle, because it's nice to have deep wards and deep vision, but you want to have the wards where the fight is going to be taking place. And right now, C9 are just living in LGD's jungle, so these wards might just see that, hey, we're not there. And while that's information, that's not the best information.
And Envy doing multi-camp farming while the rest of his team pushing the tier 1 tower. Bone 7 again, just hovering back. They drop the Tombstone Notel, expecting some level of defense, but LGD, they're actually on the bottom lane. And it looks like they're grouping up for a big 5-man smoke, and they are going to do so. But is this to contest the mid tower? You got no fortification.
I think they might be going for Envy.
The Tombstone's only got 6 more seconds left on it.
Yeah.
When they arrive, this Tombstone's going to disappear. So they snowball in. They go after Fader. He can't get the blink off in time, and Fader, they get the kill. The Sorb couldn't keep. Not the lasso will be dragging Yao back. Shallow Grave very early on, but they get the perfect shards off. And Misery, Envy, and Notel. There's one small path to freedom around the corner, but Ember Spirit jumping down, killing Envy on the way through. It's a double kill for Zhao Wade, while Dazzle comes in for the heal bomb on Notel. The rest of Cloud9 are bailing out of here. Things going wrong.
Wow, really good fight for LGD there, and there was just chaos in C9. I think they were just panicking over the, oh, Tombstone is dying, we have to run. But then they jump in and grab, but they grabbed a guy who used everything already. The Tusk had cooldown on every single spell at the point that the Batrier grabbed him.
Yep.
And there was no way they're going to win that fight if they stayed, so they lose their Queen, they lose their Razor, and the Undying. Those are 3 really good kills for LGD.
And with this, the net worth's going to start to balance out a little bit more. It's a good swing, but you had yourself almost a 6,000 net worth advantage going the way of Cloud9.
Oh, C9
just
were
over
doing
10 minutes in, and now it's back to 3,000, and it's still going to tip before C9 can get themselves back into the lanes. The experience was roughly the same as well.
Yeah, C9 were doing amazing at that point, so now, of course, with those kills going the way of LGD, it's a little bit more even, but still C9's control for sure.
I don't know how they're meant to push, however. Like this is probably another one of these things to bring up. The fact that Zhao Wade just left the lower levels up in Light Strike Array, but with the 4 points up in Slave, his range damage he did to the top wave as Envy was pushing in, it took out maybe 80% of the life of the creep wave. So you throw both Shards and Slave, and there's no creep waves left. You have to commit this. Like, it's the same situation as middle lane. You commit the Tombstone so early before the fight even begins.
He wants to get a grab. He's there looking for it, but he's going to back off. And yeah, as you said, they have to drop a preemptive Tombstone if they even want to stand and hit the tower at all, because the creeps get pulled back.
But is this the way to do it? Because you're losing Tombstone after Tombstone.
Yeah, this one actually going to get farmed up as well. So 150 gold over to Lina. She's very happy with that.
She's almost finished a full Yule Scepter. Like, I think it was the Void Stone, which is already on that courier for Zhao Wade.
But as you say, like, how else are C9 going to push until they have Aghanims on Razor? The only good part about pushing that they have is Batrider being able to start the initiation, but if it's just about killing the tower, there's no helping that. So LGD is much more rounded in their draft here. Of course, having a heal like Dazzle and his Shadow Wave, that is amazing for pushing. So no sustainability on C9.
Oh, now these wards which LGD planted almost 3-4 minutes ago are going to come to fruition.
Oh, yes.
Because you can see everything inside the dire jungle. You group up as 5 and you take tier 1, tier 2.
Yeah, they also got a D ward on the C9 ward that was on the lane up here. So the lane ward is removed, and they have their 2 wards in the jungle that can now be much more relevant after they won the mid fight.
Looks like they're not going to force the top lane too much. Ember Spirit still needs to find a lot more farm. And maybe that's something else we should be looking at. When does Ember Spirit hit his timing based on the start he's had?
Yeah, tough to say. It depends what he wants to transition into from here. He has the Bracer and he has the Face Boots, but I think he's just going to go straight for the drums or Battle Fury. I think Battle Fury, actually. We'll see if he decides to pick up drums.
I think Faye's going to get very, very frustrated soon.
Yeah.
Because the Radiant Creep Wave actually gave vision up.
Another thing to note is that the Undying zombies, they don't die to cleave, but you have to hit them. So if you have Battle Fury on Ember and you jump to all of them, you're actually going to get to hit on all of them and cleave from them. So that's why Ember can work really well against Undying.
So,
And
you get more jump, you deal more damage, and if any of the enemy heroes are in the range, then you actually inflict more damage.
Exactly. Because the old Tombstone, you would just kill all the zombies with one Battle Fury attack, but that's not the case anymore. So that might be a reason why we see more Ember now. He's just very nice against Undying in this sense. That's just a gimmicky interaction, though, or something you should know.
LGD are baiting.
Drums was the choice. Yeah, they are.
This is a really, really big bait. But it's so obvious. I mean, they know that they're not being watched because of their Observer wards and Sentry wards that have already been placed. So they know they got command of their own jungle.
They do. That's a very nice sentry. I'm just looking at Xiao 8 as he's running around and just, you know, securing his own jungle again, trying to put down some good vision for his team.
Meanwhile, Silas got a nice creep wave on top coming, so good farm for him. So you got the 2 cores farming and the other 3 of LGD sitting and waiting. But C9, like, I think they're getting sick of this. They smoke underneath their own tier 2 tower at the exact same time as like cooldown was used on the top. So you're not going to be able to TP down at the bottom lane and give that to support when this fight comes. But
now the wards are paying off for LGD. Look at this. They can back off. They saw that no one is farming the enemy jungle anymore. Oh, they're going to see each other as they run in. They have been spotted.
They're trying to break the smoke. This is the best area of vision where they can break the smoke of Cloud9 and still get away to safety.
He's looking for the initiation. He sees them.
Oh, they found Yao, dragging him back. Tombstone instantly down. Yao, he can't snowball in time. They just have to let him go. MMY was coming in for the shallow grave, but he just couldn't reach him.
That was a lot of skills committed for our Tuskar, though. So now they know that in 20 seconds, they're really strong to fight. They could just wait for a Tusk respawn and start going then. They could maybe even have gone in and punished, but the Tombstone is so risky to dive into.
They're trying to loop around the Tombstone. But the Dire Observer ward, this ward is so nicely placed down the tree line.
Oh, as you say that. Mama, yeah, he's on the case.
Oh, I guess they just can't have nice things.
Yeah, really good D-warding by LGD. I'm so impressed. That's the 3rd really nice D-ward in a row in the last 6 minutes or so. So, very good play. They have been reading C9 like a book here. Not a single Dire ward on the map right now. That is very frustrating when you play and you have this happening, because they don't even have a ward on the courier. Do they even have wards available? They have 1 ward available to purchase, and they have no wards on the map. That's a terrible spot to be in. You always want to have some vision.
If you keep planning it down, like, you're probably going to be mentally like, I got to keep trying these different unique spots, and then you still get de-warded out.
Yeah.
Mentally, where do you go from there? And also knowing that LGD have the vision superiority, they're grouping up as 4, they're smoking up, and they're going north.
It's easier to make decisions when you have so much vision. So yeah, they're just going into enemy jungle. They see that they're not in our jungle, so let's go and put some wards up here again and get some info. Yeah. They also show themselves, and there is a smoke from C9 now. As the Gyro revealed himself, they instantly try to wrap around this.
Yeah, No-Tail TP'd out. He actually TP'd to the tier 2 tower to join that smoke gank. And this Observer ward, which LGD placed, maybe it's going to give them the false sense of security.
Yes, it could, actually. Sometimes your vision works against you.
But at the same time, look at the vision of the Dire side. They only see Sylar here on the top lane. They don't understand the trap. Envy comes in from behind, however. Yao goes for the shards. Bone 7, a big blink in. He goes for Xiao Wei, dragging him back. So no Laguna Blade, but then set up in towards the air. The Yulset protecting him while the cooldown. Perfect position with the flag cannon. Envy still alive with the storm going, but maybe he's your big man. Spirit jumping away. He needs to escape from the rest of Cloud9 because he's destroyed the rest of his team. Cloud9 take almost everything in there. The stun on maybe. He's still got the Spirit down, the flame break, the extra stun, try to drain out the mana, a quick sleight of fist into the Spirit bump.
Maybe is gonna live and get away from this, but he's the only one. His entire team is dead. Only Queen of Pain was killed, and she still has 2.9k gold and her ultimate orb, so she's looking very farmed. Could soon have her Hex against the Ember Spirit, which is terrifying for him. So beautiful wraparound there by C9, and as you said, the false sense of security from the ward. They didn't think that they were gonna get initiated on from behind.
Yeah, and they were so clustered for it too. Like if you looked at that top lane for the box, it was basically 1, 2, 3, and 4 with the bait on the front lines. Like this right here is what we call box of death.
Yeah, definitely. They got completely shut in there, and that's also the beauty of having, you know, Batrider and Undying. You throw down the Tombstone immediately, and you grab one guy with the Batrider. It makes it so hard to run away and get out. So you have to kind of help your guy who's being pulled away, but at the same time, if no one kills the tombstone, you're just stuck in, as you called it, box of death.
And who was meant to kill the tombstone? Even your disables, like Lina was the one I thought was going to be the biggest factor. That's why I was focusing on her at the start of the fight. And then she had to defensively Yule Scepter. So you can't even stop the Bat Rider from getting that lasso back, because she could have just Yuled him up and then just thrown down the Light Strike Array, the Slave, tried the Laguna Blade down the Razor of all people, who's walking around with both Ogre Club as well as Mech and High 1 charges. You're not going to find that kill.
And 4 points into Unstable Current, which hurts you a lot when you're going to nuke him with a single target. You get slowed for 2 seconds, you take some damage. It's not what you want at all. And next fight is only going to be harder. When he has his full BKB on, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Here they come.
Oh.
Zhao Wei, Tombstone's going to drop, but Point 7's not in position for the blink. However, Misery will onto Zhao Wei.
But not enough to follow up there. He did have the ulti available on Lion as well to target down Lina, but he didn't have more follow-up, so decided to save it.
23-minute scythe that you're talking about.
Yep.
It's now arrived fully.
Interesting. I think this is the first time here at TI that I see the straight-up Hex rush, whereas many people have been going for the Ags and Yule Scepter or Yules into Ags. That kind of build, but Hex is superior against Ember. It is so good to lock him down.
Yeah, it's a different mindset too. Like Cloud9 are looking at this going, okay, team fights and then pushing is probably where we're going to find victory here. If you're going for the Aghanim Scepter build, you got more confidence in your own, like, we just push as 5, or it's always like reset team fight, next 30 seconds, then we go again.
I wouldn't hate to see the Necrobook build this game as well. They don't have any pushing at all, and they're going up against the, you know, maybe's Ember and the Gyrocopter on this side and Dazzle. Late game is going to be dangerous. I'm not saying that they're straight up weaker, but it's still not going to be easy to execute if you can't finish this game when you have a big advantage.
Would you then look for the more classic Razor build with the Aghanim Scepter? I'm not going to say Aghanim's Refresher, but like, would you go down that line?
Envy loves Shiva on his Razor as well, so could definitely see a Shivas. But Aghanim's Refresher is very, very strong for pushing, so they could go into that. Downside being that you don't get too much HP from it.
This mech is so delayed by Lina, because she's going for it. Like, they actually made Lina our mech builder. Needs another 600 gold to complete it, and that's after Yule Scepter and Arcane Boots.
And look at her max HP. Like, she has so much gold on her, but it's not turning into that much yet. Not in her HP pool, at least.
Not survivability. Well, there's some dewarding going on with that gem over on Bone 7.
Amazing to have a gem on Batrider. One of the best gem carriers for sure, along with like Coddle and Night Stalker. Can always have the flying, just get up there and find these wards. So we're going to see if C9 can set up for Roshan here, as LGD are definitely on the back foot. They don't have much going for them. Do they have a smoke available right now? Or
does C9 still have enough damage for Roshan?
They do not have one on them, and their shop is actually out of smokes. So yeah, they don't have a smoke to use.
I'm not seeing a medallion over on Cloud9, so like going in for Roshan could be pretty difficult for them.
Yeah, it is a little bit hard. They don't have, again, the best heroes to bring down Roshan. They don't have good Rosh, don't have good pushing. They have very good fighting heroes. That's what they have.
Yeah, they could bait the fact they're going for Roshan, and maybe this is why the Sigil is now making his long trek across the Radiant jungle over towards the pit. Just think, you know, hey, maybe they're looking at this.
Yeah, definitely. It's going there to scout, but
interception.
I mean, they're just fine farming up the enemy jungle right now, but maybe realizes this as well, so he's just pushing top. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but I want to be farming. I want to be doing something. I'm going to take this tier 1 tower, and he's completely safe in doing so.
Surprisingly, Cloud9 didn't fortify that. They had fortification up.
Yeah, you should always do it. If you remember it, you should always do it for a tier 1 tower, of course.
Just would delay a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be trade-off anyway. Cloud9,
it's not a big
they've
thing.
got 3 guys forcing in the tier 2 tower. There's your fortification from LGD. Now, that one won't regenerate after this tower goes down because there's no tier 1 towers left for LGD. But because of, like, you could have bought yourself 4 more seconds, this tower is now taking a fair amount of damage for it.
Yeah, and the push bottom now as well. They're getting into the base here. See if Batrider can sneak around and get the vision here.
Maybe he can finish this tower
Oh,
by
they
himself.
ping him.
He's got the double damage rune, so he can also TP back into this fight with the high damage. And Envy, well, there's your Blink Dagger in, 4 stars away.
missed.
Couldn't actually get the lasso on, which means the Tombstone is a little bit too deep here. They couldn't drag the lineup back, so the Tombstone will drop. The tier 2 tower was lost on top lane.
Yeah, they got the tower there, and they also hold very nicely that they saw the Batrider early as he was trying to sneak in. He was in vision when he tried to go down there. Let's see what C9 do now. Just gonna reset into the enemy jungle once more.
Well, they had to. Like, when that weave, like, MMY actually got a 5-man weave
Yeah.
at the start of that. C9 was so clustered together, you got a 5-man
is
weave,
very
and C9
dangerous.
was like, you know what, we're losing all our armor. That's a double damage rune, Ember Spirit. We do not want to be here. And Ember does have the Battle Fury now.
You know, I'm gonna believe that that is one of the bigger parts that separates casual players and players who are very experienced, is things like that, the small things. People won't notice the dazzle and how much it does until you actually have played quite a bit and realize it's a very dangerous spell. If you get Gyrocopter's flat cannon on you when you have minus armor, your entire team might be gone immediately. And I'm just looking at Envy right now. I'm trying to wait and see what he's going to pick up for next item, because I would love to see the Shivas in this game. More armor on him would definitely be nice. And,
He might need it just up against the Dazzle.
Yeah.
More than anything else. But he then might also think, well, should I build an Assault Cuirass for my team? Like, I know you like the Shivas on him, but like, who else would be building such an item for Cloud9? Unless Bone 7 starts getting crap tons of money.
Yeah, like Assault Cuirass is okay as well, but it's just that the Shivas synergizes really nicely with your Plasma Field as well. You send out the Shivas and Plasma Field, you slow them down, you deal tons of damage in AoE, and you just run in and be a boss, you know?
The Sigil Scout's doing its work.
Yeah.
They're really keeping very, very close eyes over on Roshan. Same time, the Sigil's going to scout the Courier moving down, so it's going to flag the fact, yeah, in fact, there is the instant ping. It's like, okay, we see the Sigil, and the Sigil sees us.
Yeah, little faceless Rex coming down there. He's gonna be safe. He no couriers have died in this game so far.
It wasn't like the roasted chicken house that was opened up yesterday.
Oh yeah, in the wildcards we had some game with like 5 or 6 couriers dying.
It was cluckles every time. Like CDEC lost their courier, I think 8 times yesterday.
Wow, throughout their games? That is insane.
It was high. It was very, very high throughout their games.
Well, that's what you get when you send it into the enemy base when you don't have any heroes in the enemy base. You know, like sometimes the poor courier, he didn't want to go there, dude.
He uses as a ward to watch Roshan.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it can be tactical, but they're going to try and kill Roshan now. They don't have Medallion, as you pointed out, so very slow Rosh. They also don't have heals.
The ping's coming out.
Where is LGD?
Ember just pinged it out and said, you know what, like this is going on right now.
They're very, very far away, though. And Roshan already down to 60%.
Okay, Notal throws this Tombstone down so early.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with that, because
It's
the
what's
enemy,
taking for him.
we know that the enemy is super far away, but we have the bird's eye. If you're C9 in this case, and you know that the enemy is still not here, this Tombstone was up in good timing. It's not going to drop until after they killed Roshan anyway. So I believe this was a very nice sneak by C9. And maybe LGD just misinterpreted it as a smoke gang from C9, because they didn't really see what they were doing.
True.
After a Sigil Scout, though, I kind of thought they would go there and contest.
They might have thought they would have had the vision for it to see him move, but because of that gem over on Bone 7, if you actually look at the Radiant Ward, which is just hovering just a little bit lower than the Tier 1 tower, they had to put it on the cliff side. So the vision they get doesn't see far enough onto the dire side of the river. So Queen of Pain was the only one that walked down to Roshan out of the cover of smoke.
Same on the top rune, if you look at that, the Radiant Ward there. They really got creative in their warding, and this is some anti-gem wards that you will throw down. They're just harder to see, less chance that you're going to run by and be like, oh, hey, easy ward. So LGD definitely experienced in how to play against this, and now they will have a gem of their own, which can be very, very nice to have. When you're feeling shut into your base, at least you can run out with the ward and know whether or not you're
Hilarious thing is, so there's only one dire ward on the... so I take it back, there's 2. One observer on the bottom river and 1 sentry on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
This is the only 2 wards for dire side, unless I've missed something somewhere, but it doesn't look like it.
They have one on Undying as well, and they have 1 more in stock, so now they could try and force out some more wards, but that's... It's still fine. They had the ward for their Roshan. It's going to get dewarded now, but it served its purpose, I think, as they were very safe in the Roshan attempt there. And Aghanim's going to be the build, adding some push to this lineup that desperately needs it. He's close to level 16 as well, which is a big upgrade. So if you can just get that before the next fight, that would be amazing.
Well, they have the Aghanim, the Aegis Immortal plus the Aghanims. Is this almost the time you say, like, Cloud9, do you believe you have this in the late game? Or do you feel like you have to force the high ground now?
I don't know if you need to force the high ground now, but you definitely don't feel confident for an ultra late game scenario, like going into a 2-hour game or 90-minute game against LGD. Definitely not. However, they might have a power peak roughly at 45-50 minutes where they could have enough items on Razor to force the high ground.
They could. But, can you? Shards, call down, Slide of Fist, Slave.
That's why I'm saying that you can't do it right now. He's gonna need
force the high ground means you're actually going in without a creep wave.
Yeah, you will need to walk up with the Razor with ulti on and realize the fact that he's probably gonna get brought down. So maybe Aegis and one more item as he's able to pick up. He can also get a lot stronger. You can sell the mech later on. You can have Heart, Scotty, whatever.
Yep.
So
just turn him into a big tank.
Yeah, but the danger is still there. The danger of the Ember Spirit getting super strong, and of course, Gyrocopter is farming up steadily. Not as fast,
already
though.
doing about 450 crits.
Yeah.
With just a normal attack.
Yeah, he's hitting very, very strong. But Queen is the top farmer in this game as well. So she's there with a Hex and BKB.
And V turns on the ulti, instantly gets Light Strike Array, as well as the Shards keeping the rest of his teammates out. They rocket, they stun and control. The ulti's doing its work, and it's good lasso, but the Yule Scepter up in time, but Xiao Wei bursted down by Faye. The BKB protected for a while, and LGD getting destroyed into their own tier 4 towers. They soul rip up as much as they can for Envy to keep them alive on the front lines. They never even burned the Aegis Immortal. The buyback will be there from Jaro. They have to keep this bottom ranks alive. They cannot allow C9 to do it. Side of Fist Syrian Chain, that's one way. There's no, well, actually, they have cooldown still up. That's still available for them at the moment.
Yeah, they do have cooldown, but they're also outnumbered so hard. And C9 realizing, hey, that was a good fight. We're losing our tombstone. It's going down. Let's back out, reset, and enjoy what we did. Pat on the back, and we'll come back tomorrow, you know?
Yep.
So they still have plenty of time on their Aegis as well. If they back up and heal straight away, they could come back with the Aegis and use it again.
I'm still thinking of all the scenarios that could have happened for LGD. That's still okay for them. Like, the Ember Spirit didn't die, didn't have to buy back, so he's holding on to his money for now. Yes, the Gyro had to sacrifice himself, but it's BKB Helm with the Dominator. Yes, he wants to have a Demon Edge eventually into a Monkey King bar, but for now, he can flash farm that up later. LGD, it hurts them, but it doesn't cripple them.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the most painful things, though, is if the Gyrocopter gets grabbed
Envy,
like that.
Envy, he is now battling up against maybe one-on-one. Just wants it to pop. Okay, that's it.
That's perfectly
How long
fine.
does it have left on it? Okay, the Aegis only had another 30 seconds, 10, maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, so that's still that still doesn't matter at all. Of course, it's nice to try, but
it kind of looked like something weird at the start.
yeah, it was kind of a strange fight. You will see it sometimes when someone fights with the Aegis. Anyway,
it doesn't make, like, if it was the old Aegis, it would make more sense. But now, now the Aegis has regeneration properties anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter at all, as you would still get your full HP,
Yeah.
no matter if you fight or not. Queen is up to 4.5k gold right now. Holy bananas. He's going to add up some strong item next.
What do you go for? Is this just the Aghanim, so you go back into the older
armor.
build?
You need armor. I think
Maybe
should
go the Shivas on him.
Yeah, you could definitely go Shivas on Queen as well in this game. So I believe either Shivas or Scotty on her. You need something that's going to bring some survivability. The Scotty gives some armor and gives plenty of HP and good stats overall. And also having that slow available to attack the Gyro with is super good. But she actually did purchase... Oh, she's going for the Aghanims now. Or no? Yeah, she is. So Queen Aghanims is the next item. That was not an item that I would have predicted, actually. Because they don't fight every 40 seconds. They fight roughly once every 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You know, the cooldown on the ulti doesn't seem to hurt her.
I agree. But maybe it's this... Well, no, yeah.
They're just predicting that they will turn up the heat and fight more frequently now. And
Maybe.
having the AoE damage against...
Here they come. Snowball in onto Eternal Envy. It was a very short range one. Punching him up in towards the air. The tombstone still drops from Notel. And they lasso back Xiao Wei. He is so far away. They can potentially Yule Scepter just to buy some time. But time is all they're going to get from this. Xiao Wei will still end up dying. And this will mean the tier 2 tower will go down, but the tombstone has been expended for this and the lasso. In fact, Sleight of Fist, Searing Chain, Fader trapped underneath the tower into your Walrus Punch and Call Down. They actually don't even take the tower.
Yeah, they forced him off the tower. They only lost Alina, so this is very good. And the tombstone was committed. So once again, C9 have to kind of back off. They don't have the Razor ulti anymore as well, so just waiting for their next push.
They do at least find the Radiant Observer Ward finally.
It lived for a long time.
In the last 1 minute of his life.
It had a long, good life. It was a happy ward.
All right, so if you're Ember now, okay, don't worry. I'm already answering my own question by checking out the fact he's got the Daedalus recipe on the courier.
Yes.
So the full Daedalus is going to be purchased from Maybe. There's no saving for buyback for him.
Yeah, almost all the Embers that we have seen, when it comes to the choice of buyback or first Daedalus, they always pick up the Daedalus. Because it's such a big change in next team fight. You're going to be so much more dangerous having the full Daedalus.
Should actually flag too, the fact that Xiaowei died means that the gem of LGD was passed over to Cloud9.
Oh, they actually stole that gem, yeah.
Yep. So they've got 2 gems. One's over on the Batrider, and the other one's over on the Lion. So this Observer Ward, which is also placed on the first hard camp of the Radiant side, is just sitting there right next to the other Radiant Observer Ward. The vision is coated everywhere across Radiant jungle.
That's one of the closest camps as well, like one of the few that you can farm when you're feeling on your back foot, when you are pressured back into your base. So having that blocked really hurts you. You need to get that removed.
Well, where's Maybe meant to find his farm? Like, he moves over and he's realized, wait, our camp didn't spawn. Why is my camp not here? I can't farm up.
They did stack the Ancients, though, so they're trying to prepare farm for themselves, but it's only a double stack right now. Need to wait until it's a little bit more to really go there and get some value.
So you got to find money for both Sylar as, so the Daedalus is on Ember. Do you prioritize Sylar getting into a Monkey King bar now? Because again, we're looking at this bait train.
I think you have to have some damage on Sylar soon. Yeah, you need to get the MKB, definitely. You could even go Divine, honestly. Just need damage in the next fight. But I think you're still not as desperate that you have to go Divine straight up. Go for the MKB is probably fine.
Cloud9 scouted out the LGD stack, killed off the one range creep, which was the trader of the Dire side that was stacking for the Radiant, and then leave a ward behind. So they're not actually taking the stack. They're waiting until LGD tries to do it, and then we'll probably come and counter-initiate. But they're looking for Roshan now.
Poor range creep, dude. He got a bribe. It was so good. An offer he can't resist. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, LGD this time around are in a lot better position to go in for Roshan, but Cloud9 have their same Dire ward up, their same Roshan ward, so the Satyr has to be set instead. Now, this belongs to the Gyrocopter, so he's moving in and realizing, okay,
just checking.
Roshan's got basically no life taken from him, but they're definitely there.
Yeah, and they are going to move up a little bit here. They find the ward.
Yep.
But running up there and actually killing it, a little bit scary against Batrider.
But when you put a Spirit in also inside the pit, there's no way that Cloud9 are going to feel comfortable to go for Roshan.
They put the ward, but they're never going to check that because they know the enemy are close. They don't want to walk up there. So even though the Observer Ward is in range, they're just too scared to walk close to the river.
Actually, sentry warding everywhere. But they're not, for all the ward places they're doing, because they pinged out the fact the camp was blocked. But they didn't sentry ward that. They sentry ward on the river edge and not deeper in. Yeah. So either LGD know about the ward and don't care, or they just forgot.
They definitely know about the ward. I believe they may have forgotten because, focus on so many other things, Roshan coming up, but that's still a big deal. They need to get rid of that ward. It gives very good vision as well as blocking one of their most important resources.
The Spirit just timed out for Ember Spirit, and Cloud9, they went into it. You've now got a full Skadi over on Eternal Envy, so he's become almost 3k worth of life tanky.
Yeah, he's super, super strong. He's a very dangerous threat right now, and no matter what item he adds up next, I think he's reaching that terminal status where he can actually just go. Oh, the poor range creeps, dude. Come on, Envy. Oh, he got away. Okay.
Say no mercy for the trader.
Damn.
And now they get rid of that Dire Observer Ward. Finally. And Cloud9, well, they're going to smoke. So either it's a jump into the pit, which would be useless because the Spirit's there.
They want to fight. They want to fight straight up.
LGD don't. But LGD is still grouped up as 5, and they're on the other side.
Oh, this could be terrible. They're going to show themselves on this creep wave. Actually, no time for that. They got to go.
Fader actually blinked forward, so the smoke now breaks, but LGD, there's your jump in. Yao punching him up, Bone 7. He gets a drag back over on Zhao Wei, and Fader explodes the Dazzle. They move quickly over towards Sylar. Zhao Wei, the Shallow Grave's keeping him alive, but where's your extra help? The Ember Spirit's not doing enough at worth. Maybe he's just running away. Once again, the sole survivor of LGD, and Bone 7's trying to stop, but they found him. They get the Hex. It's going to be a team wipe in favor of Cloud9. LGD, they'll probably lose Rax at this point.
Every single hero brought down. Oh boy, this is complete disaster. They only have buyback on a Tusk. Like this is definitely Rax. There is tier 2 towers defending on the other sides though, so they cannot double Rax it. But this is just terrible. They might even keep pushing. 50 seconds on Ember and 45 on Jaro. At least they're gonna take the Rax back off and kill Roshan in the time of this death.
Yep.
I think that's what they're gonna go for as well. Envy was thinking about going mid there. He was like, can we get 2 racks out of this? I think they're going to do the safe play.
There's too much of a creep wave in mid. It'll take you too long to mop it up. But you can take the tier 2 tower at least after this and then go for Roshan. So we have Tuskar as well as Lena back up again. Bone 7's just searching around, and it is just going to be the back out. No reason to overstay your welcome. And now, unless you can find yourself a pick off, there's your Sonic Wave going again. The Shallow Grave protecting Zhao Wei, but the double stun in from Misery. They found Yao. He's down for the count. Zhao Wei, is there enough life? The Yule Scepter just trying to buy time for something, but there's nothing that can save him. The buyback came back in, but he's snowballing into the middle of all of Cloud9. Tossed around. This could be a quicker GG. The cooldown's in a nice position. Misery dropping quickly, but Eternal Envy, he's leeching out. Well, nothing. He hasn't taken any damage. The Ember Spirit is back into the fight, chasing him down. Bone 7 successful TP away, and Envy just trying to man mode the rest of LGD. Side fisting and spiriting back and forward. Maybe we'll finally get the kill. A triple kill for Sylar.
Look at Sylar's gold.
Just for it.
Just press enter and look at the gold that Sylar got from that team fight.
He took 3,033 gold from that fight, and Dazzle was second place with 2,310.
Yeah, that was so much money, and they also just used the buyback on Tusk, but that doesn't matter. Like,
who cares? He lost 1,300. Like,
who cares about Tusk's gold? Like, he's not relevant in this game because he's not strong enough already. He's not gonna get an item that makes him relevant. So C9, they killed a lot, but they definitely overstayed their welcome, and they paid for it. They paid a lot.
Yeah, because now you look and see what effect it's going to have. You can't just jump yourself in and take Roshan. You actually don't even take the tier 2 tower in the middle lane.
Yeah, as you say, Roche is not a safe option anymore for C9, as it was before. They could have taken lane and Roche, guaranteed, but instead they pursued to kill these poor supports that were alive without their cores.
Supports now, which are able to forward up things like Cloaks, looking towards Glimmer Staff later, Glimmer Cape, and the 4 Staff he's actually bought.
Indeed, they are getting more and more resources now on the side of LGD, but as we say that, there's also Yule Scepter, Blink, and Force Staff on his Lion. Misery is having a really nice game and has played really well throughout the entire video.
Yeah, that double stun looked really, really good. And then you realize,
wait,
you're right in front of the fountain of the Radiant side.
That's the downside, dude. Fighting right by the fountain with 2 cores, the Ember and Gyro are about to respawn in like 10 seconds. It's a little bit too much.
LGD, they're smoking up, they're moving in close. Now they'll see Eternal Envy. They spirit into the pit, expecting the Cloud9 was in there, maybe actually missing. He went for the Searing Chain before using Sleight of Fist. And we get Refresher Orb. It's Refresher Aghanims and Refresher Double Hex as well.
This is an amazing build. This is an amazing build. The Refresher on Queen is so strong. Just look at the damage she's going to deal with the Sonic Wave in next team fight. And then you add the fact that she has 2 BKBs, 2 Hexes.
Yep.
It's just great for Queen.
You're actually going to have 13 seconds worth of immunity time for her, for her next charge as the BKBs.
Yep, 7 and 6 second BKB. It's pretty good. So we'll see what's going to go on in the next team fight. It's going to be very difficult for LGD, though. If they take the fight here, out in the open, they won the fight in their own base, but can they do it here?
Envy. The Spirit, he's doing it right underneath the Ember Spirit, and he's going to keep jumping in one more Spirit. That's all maybe he has to do. Throw in a Spirit, watch what's happening, doesn't put himself at risk to do this.
No, he's like, hey, how are you doing?
Like, the only thing which could go wrong is Batrider Fireflying in on him, and the Radiant have an Observer Ward down for that. Actually, their ward positioning's really good unless you get the Tombstone on this hill, the northern hill of the Roche Pit. If it's on the southern hill,
that's the most common spot is to put it up there.
Yep.
That's very hard to fight. If you cannot kill these Tombstones, you normally just lose the fight.
Especially when, like, as Ember Spirit, you could probably bring it down. And in fact, look, they put the Tombstone right in front of the Radiant Observer
As we
Ward.
said, though, I mean, Ember can benefit from the zombies stacking up. He can definitely deal more damage.
Oh, Roshan so low. That Spirit, he's not going to jump in. Eternal Envy finishes the job. And they just back up.
Yeah.
They didn't find an opening.
Very safe Roshan there. Steady and easy from the side of C9. They have the entire solo crest as well on Big Daddy No Tail. That is really good in this fight, in this game. There is, of course, MKB on Gyro, but against Ember, it is amazing.
So does LGD now defend their tier 2s? Do they feel confident enough they should just like smoke up and come and defend the tier 2s, or do they just let it go?
I don't think there's any way you will take the tier 2 fight after giving up a Roshan.
But if you're going to do this, then maybe you should be on that bottom lane.
Yeah,
like
but
pushing.
They're not feeling 100% that they're not going to be bottom already. Like they think that they were going to go top. Now, of course, it's obvious, but they didn't feel 100% safe.
Right, so maybe Insala mop up the bottom lane to try and relieve some of the pressure. The middle lane was pushed up nicely. I'm kind of actually liking the Blink Dagger over on the Ember, considering how quickly he's going to move from position to position.
It's okay. I mean, it could be money spent towards second Daedalus, though. I'm not sure if I like it or not.
There's the Tombstone committal. Bone 7. He's only halfway through that Firefly, still looking for a target. Syla's the best one here. That beacon up an Alpha Wolf, so there's bonus damage. Here comes Fader in for that ultimate. The snowball dodge from Yao. They might look for the secondary one. There it flies out. MMY is dropping low, but Fader not finding any kills with it just yet. Yao will be one of the first ones to drop down with Zhao. Wait, but Silas is losing so much damage. 198 taken. 224 was the end number.
Yeah, everything being stolen by Envy there as Fada dove in and kind of kept the enemy team off, but two of them died and Razor's very low here.
Be careful, Envy. Be really, really careful. He's got Aegis the Immortal, so he can come back alive. He's still going to pop it for the range racks, and Sylar, well, he's standing his ground here. The creep wave is going to remain, and they're looking for the extra stuns, and Pone 7 actually being Searing chained up, and they're going to find the kill. The Ember Spirit, the man to do it. Can they get the collateral? Yep, you just chase it up into a Searing chain. Eternal Envy can go for the Plasma Field and Static Link, but he's still down for the count. A double kill for the Ember Spirit.
Every single kill gives so much gold as well. Look at that. Ember Spirit, 644 gold from Battery, 694 from the Razor. They're getting plenty of money back their way.
It was almost elite number. It was 1338.
It's a big swing of gold. However, they were very far behind in before this fight. So
yes,
they still need to work hard to recover. They only lost the range racks, though. Tier 3.
You lost the range racks, and you've got 7.3k gold on an Ember Spirit. Well, do I just...
You get pretty much the same damage extra as you get from buying a Divine by buying a Daedalus, and you don't risk as much. You should buy the second Daedalus and then buy a Divine. That's pretty much the build.
Ember
He's gonna go
Linken's?
Oh, he's scared of the Queen and her Hex and Lion, of course. But I worry for his damage, man. I really do.
It might also be because of Batrider, in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good item overall in this game, but I'm not sure he's the one who has to buy it. You know,
Batrider's got his own Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah.
Anything you could buy, I can buy better.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's a good item for Batrider to pick up, but for Ember, he's definitely gonna need to deal a lot of damage. But we focus too much on him. Gyrocopter is starting to become a threat as well. He has the MKB, he has the Butterfly.
Yep.
He is, at this point, starting to become very relevant.
And how's Razor meant to actually attack him? He buys up now an Assault Cuirass.
Well, he doesn't attack him, he just steals his damage. He just links him.
Okay, he steals the damage, so he doesn't do anything then. But is there a way to get away from this? Like, wait, where's our 4-staff usage? Where's the Gyro's maneuverability? Is it coming from the supports? Like, you got 4-staff Glimmer Cape on one, and you got Yule Scepter, Mech, Arcanes on the other.
Yeah.
It might be worth a second 4-staff over on Zhao 8.
It might be. It could be.
Either that or... Wait, can you Lotus Orbit?
Lotus Orb what?
Lotus Orb Static Link?
No.
What a shame.
Static Link will persist. Like, even if you snowball, it's going to persist.
You just have, like, the double link.
Yeah, it's just going to go in there.
So we just go, like, full cross the streams.
Dude, you can get imprisoned into another world, and the Static Link is still going to be like, I know where you are. I got your address.
Looks like LGD. A bit more of an aggressive movement up the mid. But to really what avail? Like, Cloud9 keep 3 on the defense. You've got Notel just limping himself around inside the jungle. And Fade has managed to wait so long that not only is Refresher Orb coming off cooldown, but he's managed to farm 3.5k gold. And they're grouping up together. It's a 5-man smoke move.
It's the smoke time. They're going now. C9 looking to be the initiators again. It has been going really good for him when they get the initiation.
Hey, they dropped the drums. So, okay, so maybe actually left his drums behind.
He left the drums, yeah.
So he has a TP scroll.
He's playing against C9, the constant reminder, carry a TP scroll.
They just saw all of C. Oh, he jumped at the Spirit. Maybe. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That wasn't intentional. He went to the Spirit back in the middle lane. He's not on the top lane at the moment.
Well, he got scared. He just felt this is not where I should be.
That Observer Ward from NoTal is the perfect position. They're watching LGD inch forward, and then they have another Observer Ward on the high ground.
Yeah, and right now it's very, very important. The initiation is everything.
They still see him. Here comes Bone 7. Glimmer Cape, he missed the he actually missed the lasso. 4 stops away, realizing it wasn't going to work. He gets the BKB, and now the Lincoln Sphere protecting Sylar of all people. Snowballing in after Undying Fader, trying to blink further away, and they get the stun and the burst damage. The Tuskar will drop. Eternal Envy. Okay, that Laguna play didn't really do much. And Envy, they just run away. Glimmer Cape it up, but the blinking from Fader. He'll actually use his refresh so he can blink away again. And Sylar drag back in. They shallow grave him up. Envy so low, maybe try and rip him apart. They brought down Envy. Sylar still so low, finally dead for the cause. But Fader, how big is that cause to him? The BKB will wear off.
Ember
and the Ember Spirit jumping in deeper. The Blink Dagger up. He gets a Searing Chase to 4-staff. NoTal trying to buy himself some space to actually get the Glimmer Cape off, but he'll still end up dying. Meanwhile, home in trouble. The tier 4 towers dropped, but that's all that was lost for LGD.
Yeah, very even exchange there in the end, losing Razor and Undying for the Gyro and Tusk. But okay, this game is one of the games that's actually starting to convince me of the usefulness of having an Ember Spirit. He's playing it very well, and he's doing a lot of damage in this fight.
So much money from these fights too. Like, where is the death on Maybe? It doesn't exist. He's up to 6k gold again.
He's been surviving a whole lot. The Blink and Lincolns has been doing a lot of work for him, and his damage is still there. We could see how quickly he makes work of even a Solar Crest Undying, who normally could be very, very tanky and hard to bring down.
Is this still the point, though, where you say a second Daedalus is going to be worth it over a Rapier?
That's right.
Yeah,
Seven is like, am I the one who kills you? Or?
Xiaowe's going to find him and just Yules? He, okay, triggers the Lincoln Sphere with the Yules.
Bone 7 just trolling around.
It's at that point you would actually want the 4-staff. Trigger the Lincolns with a 4-staff, then Yules him up.
Look at Queen, pressure top. Someone has to defend, and the tier 1 bottom is not really something they can go for here.
It's okay. Like, Xiaowei just buys a TP scroll from the side shop. He'll get himself back. And they're just trying to add as much pressure to the bottom lane to make it so C9 just don't just storm down the mid again.
Yeah, their entire push was stopped though, so they're going to have to go back and defend, keep farming up. And once again, we're looking over to the Ember Spirit and seeing like 7,000 gold. What do you do now? And with this item build that he's going for, I still think that he should go for a second Daedalus in terms of just damage output.
Yep.
He definitely has the survivability and maneuverability.
I'm okay with either option.
I mean, I would love the Divine as well.
I think everyone would, just as a crowd favorite, but he doesn't need to take the risk, so why do it? Same time, we're getting Queen of Pain finishing up an Octarine core.
Octarine. So he has lower cooldown now on the Refresher. And of course, just lower cooldown on Blink in general is very nice for her. So she's going to be even more maneuverable.
Of all the positions in the map right now, LGD are going to be the first ones to, one, deny a bounty rune with the Wild Wing, and two, see the fact that Roshan has respawned. It was a very quick spawn time. It was only 7 seconds out of the potential spawn time of him.
Nice.
So Cloud9 at this point have not scouted it out, but LGD are aware of it.
Yeah, very good. The Helm of Dominator still doing work from the gyrocopter, showing that off with the creep.
I'm actually wondering now what Cloud9 can do with this. Because if you get the Aegis model, do you drop the mech to get the Aegis over on the Razor? And you can't drop anything on the Queen of Pain unless she drops the Soul Booster for either Cheese or Aegis.
I would say that you still want to do that. Like, you still want to put the Aegis on your Razor, I would say.
It's a 5-man smoke out. LGD are not going to let him have it, but then again, Cloud9, they started it, and then they fell back. So Fader, the first man at the front lines, he'll BKB, Hexes on Xiaowei, isolating him with a Sonic Wave. They're still going to find that kill. MMY going to be lassoed up, so there's no Shallow Graves going to help them out. They're fighting within the Tombstone, but now Sylar, finally with the cooldown going to work. Watch your Ember Spirit as well. He's going after Bone 7. They've managed to actually bring down line. Bone 7 successful to run away, and then MMY is going to cut him off with a pass. Trying to be denied by the neutrals, not possible to do so. Fader and Envy, controlled as maybe bounced himself away on the back of the Spirit. They keep their 2 major cores alive, and Cloud9 expended a lot to do that.
Every core still alive, and that was A pretty clustered fight once again. Ember was going all over the place, managed to kill the Lion, then get out. But also the Queen of Pain and her Hex, so dangerous. They're almost secured, Ember.
For the rare gatherers.
Is it time?
Yeah, it might be. Maybe it's in the neighborhood. So if you want to get yourself some rares, get your camera position right on Ember Spirit.
Do you actually have to look at him?
You actually have to be watching it when you purchase it.
All right.
That's how you get the rares.
Okay, follow.
Secrets to victory.
And before Scriff never takes the camera off Ember from now on.
Well, Roshan's going to die now to Cloud9. So they will get the Aegis. Eternal Envy will lose the mech for the Aegis, the Immortal. And the cheese for the moment will be carried by Notal. But he can just give... Actually, he's dropping on the ground.
Oh, he can blink in and hex him. Oh, he jumps away with the ulti. He's going to farm the Ancients, though. Queen might be aware of this. They're pinging it out. I'm not going to try.
There's the blink.
It's too tough to kill him in the end.
How much surplus has he got? He's got 3.8k surplus.
What
a magical number.
What a nice number, Ember.
What a very beautiful number.
If only I could buy something for 3.8k gold.
But more than likely, he could just be looking for a Monkey King bar on the second Daedalus. And he could buy both of those back at base without having to risk losing a Rapier and losing your first game of the group stage. We're about to crack the 1 hour mark, and by the looks of it,
he's going for it.
This game's still got legs.
Is this
it? Red time. Red time.
80 viewers.
Real men walk here.
Okay, they're going for the fight now, and he's hiding his Divine. He doesn't want to show it to lane creeps.
Yep.
Keeping it secret. Keeping it safe.
He's still going to be different. He's still going to be careful. It's daytime. So vision is quite far, and then someone has to come down the bottom lane. Like right now, the satyr of the gyrocopter is the man who's doing the
I don't think I've ever
work.
seen a Helm of the Dominator do so much work in one game. Like, it's been scouting Roshans right and left, stacking and defending the Ancient. Like, it's actually feels like one extra hero on the side of LGD here.
How long does it take for Ember Spirit to get pinged out by C9? They're killing the creep wave so quickly, they'll take Cloud9 to be watching the creep wave die to understand what item maybe
For all we know, they could already have just said it.
Yeah,
but,
without actually pinging it.
But it's very common that you just ping in a reaction when you see the Divine. So
do we also look... Okay, imagine this game goes on longer. Before we actually start this fight, let's do some hypothetical. Do you hold onto the Blink Dagger as an Ember, or do you get something like BKB or maybe even another Daedalus?
I don't think you want BKB in this game. I don't think that's the play. I think just go more damage. You could switch in your Blink for more damage. Or in a very late stage, you could let someone else buy a Linken's and put it on you.
Would you also think about Monkey King Bar, considering there is a Solar Crest over on the Undying? Is it worth it just for that?
No, I don't think so, just because of that. Because you try to kill everyone as Ember, not one specific guy.
Well, Sleight of Fist, Envy dropped down to half of his life from that. And they also managed to catch Misery out of position. Xiao with the Light Strike Array, Laguna Blade. Well, okay, he died so quickly to the Ember. That was your Sleight of Fist crit coming in there.
I mean, Ember is just doing work when he has this Daedalus and Divine. The single target is extremely strong from his Sleight of Fist.
Yep.
It is really, really dangerous. And if they ever dare to stack up, the Battle Fury is going to remind people that you can't do that.
So how does C9 end this? Like, the 5-man movement with initiation to a big fight seems to have been their way before. Can they still do that, or should we look into a split push?
I'm not sure. I think they need to win a team fight still, so it's all about the initiation. Find the right point of initiation with the Queen and the rest. But one thing that I question, Queen has 13 armor. With a full gear cap, she did not go for Assault Cuirass, she did not go for Shivas.
Yep.
Against this form of physical DPS and a Dazzle,
yep.
I think they're honestly in a dangerous spot because of itemization. Sure, they have their Assault Cuirass on their Razor, but you definitely need as much armor as you can pump into this lineup.
The interesting thing, though, like, if you watch the way Fader plays most of his previous team fights, it's just been this nuke down the supports. Like, he's like, okay, I got to kill Leader, I got to kill Dazzle. If I kill them, we should be able to win the fight. If it's worth my life, we go for it, and then Envy rolls through the rest.
Yeah, he lets the Batrider go on the Gyrocopter, and then he goes on the Dazzle, so that Dazzle cannot save the Gyrocopter. That's pretty much their play. That's how they take the fight. But at this stage of the game, it's, you know, you need something, of course, to stop the Dazzle, but can you commit the Queen to that? Can you actually? I think Lion has to find his way in there. Speaking of Lion, look at his item build. This is really strange to see.
The day gone late?
Really strange to see him pick up a late...
Oh, Bone 7! He's actually got it! That was the full Satanic.
That was so huge. Very nice clutch play by Bone7.
He
and
saw
he
it
was
coming.
so close to being punished as well.
The hilarious thing is that if you looked at what LGD were doing, like they moved the Courier up so they could see on the high ground.
They're
The
gonna
Tusker
push.
knew he needed to de-ward it out as well, but they still walked up and did it that way. Like you could have actually had the Courier on the left side.
They're gonna
being more
capitalize.
defensive.
Yeah, they're gonna capitalize on this. Try and go before he gets the Satanic now, because they know it's purchased. So probably no buyback.
But the Aegis only has another 30 seconds.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if you wait until the Satanic is up from the Courier, you're just gonna lose so much from that.
But if you also push and you lose your Aegis the Immortal, Envy might find himself in a real rough position because he's in the. They're not ready to push.
Envy's a big boy. He will handle.
Is there anything on the Courier which you can take back?
I think you honestly have to go now.
He's just to mock him. He's buying Satanic over on the Dire Courier right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the money for it though. He's short by 250. So there goes your Aegis burn.
Yeah, they were just waiting for Aegis to be removed and get the Satanic on Envy and then go. Because if you just wait for the Courier to respawn, you're going to lose so much. And right now, look at Gyro. No buyback and still the same items that he has had for the last 15 minutes.
But you got Ember with a buyback. I know if he dies, he's lost the Rapier.
Yeah.
But still, he was doing a lot of damage even before the Rapier came up.
Oh, he's terrifying, for sure. It's more the fact that if you wait, he's terrifying and Gyro is terrifying.
Yep.
So you have to, go when it's still manageable, because we're just above an hour right now, 62 minutes in. And as I said, you do not want to go into a 92-hour game, something like that, against LGD's lineup.
But it's Cloud9's
You
way.
straight up don't.
Cloud9 love these late
No,
games.
C9 don't.
They don't like this one. But in general, they find themselves in 2.5 hour games.
Yeah, about that.
Here they
Some
come.
techies, maybe.
Cloud9, well, the Tombstone drops on the mid, and there's your lasso. He found Yao,
Oh,
so
he got
Tusker being pulled back out again. Where is your damage, though? Like, you've got Fader attacking the melee ranks on the top, and then Sleight of Fist Searing Chain with the Blink Dagger up. Fader has to BKB himself away to safety. They still haven't gotten rid of the Tombstone. Now Silo will come in and do the job.
Yeah,
So the top racks remains, the mid tower remains, and Cloud9 also triggered the Eye of the Storm.
They got the pick off, but it's just a Tusk. He has his buyback as well.
Yep.
And they use their Flaming Lasso, which means they can't control the Gyrocopter in the next fight. So they're just being very, very cautious in their approach. And this is allowing the Gyrocopter to slowly make his way towards buyback money. 1,600 to go. It is very expensive to buy back 1 hour plus for a Gyrocopter.
It really is. At the same time, like, you look at C9's buybacks. Because of all the purchases they're doing, they've got 3 buybacks. Batrider, Lion, as well as Quap. It's the Razor where you kind of need to have him multiple times over, because once the Quap has triggered a Refresher Orb, what more does she really bring to the fight?
Yeah.
Because you don't have the mana as well.
Yeah, you do have the mana in the end.
I suppose
it doesn't cost
when
that.
you got a 3k pool, maybe
Yeah,
you do.
you regen very fast with the Refresher. He has 42 regen per second, so
yeah.
that still makes up for it. But as you said, he doesn't bring much in the continued fight. He's about a quick pick-off.
So far up, they jump in, they go for Bone7 with a snowball up. They still haven't found the kill yet, and the stun Yao. Shallow Grave will be protecting him. The Finger of Death as well as the Dagon wasn't enough to kill off Yao, but Envy's right next to him. The Glimmer Cave forced up away. Yao will survive. They keep the Tusker up, and now Shao 8 Fader wants to throw the ulti out. He'll bring down the leaner, but Eternal Envy still the main man. The front line's in misery. A double stun on Silent MMY. They fall with the Hex, but now Fader under the tier 3 tower, punched up in towards the air and crit it down. 4-6-1.
The top racks.
That's all you need.
Top racks are dying.
It's fine. Cardi, is he strong enough? Yao. Okay, Yao's not actually strong enough to fight this. He has a snowball to get away from the rest of the creep wave, whilst Ember Spirit killing up the rest of Cloud9. You might lose melee racks, but you still hold the mid. You're not up against Megas, and the Ember remains alive through all of this.
Yeah, they won that fight very convincingly. No buyback as well on Eternal Envy. He bought the Satanic before this, so there might be the knowledge on LGD as well that they're
the
just
80-second window?
Yeah, that's a big window, dude.
Okay, maybe. Is this just when you go, like, all the way?
I mean, he can keep pushing the bottom lane, and he has travel, so he can join his team.
Yep.
So definitely he can join up.
Well, that's probably what he should do, considering we're 65 minutes in and this tier 1 tower is still alive on bot lane.
65 minutes.
It would require 1 hit from an Ember Spirit to kill this thing.
That is impressive, actually, that tier 1 tower. I hope it never dies. Never die, you beautiful bastard.
Even with the GG call.
Yeah, even if they lose.
Well, so Sala's going to push the tier 3 tower. Here's the BTs coming in. So Ember Spirit will join it, and we actually get another Divine Rapier purchase. It's on the Courier. So they're coming for the tier 3 tower.
That's his backup Rapier.
It looks like, though, LGD will take the mid racks. It's worth a fallback from this point, though, unless they think they can go for more. And actually, they're going for more. The Lincoln Sphere's going to be triggered now over on the Ember Spirit. They're taking up the tier 3 tower.
18
looking
seconds.
for the melee racks on the top. Bone 7 jumps in. He drags back Silent. Bone 7! The damage coming in from Ember. Yao will punch him down. The Sonic Wave was nice, but the damage is negligible. They'll actually get even more kills, more time. Envy's alive in 3 seconds. There's your Dagon going to work. Critical item from Misery. But the melee racks, they really want to have this dead. They're taking care of the creep wave and the tower, the racks. Sylar still going at it. He's got to get away from this one. He takes out the melee and then the blinking. Misery, dead and burning right from the Ember Spirit. Fader still on the front line. Sylar and MMY. Where's that Ember? He's running away. He can't really risk coming back in here again unless he loses the rapier. Or do they feel like they can take this? Envy's on the front line. Fader actually trapped. There's no BKB for 2 more seconds. Sylar will drop and maybe, are you still going to stay here? Here comes Tuskar. He goes for Fader, throwing him up into the air. The BKB is up. Snowball protecting. The Sigil still going to drop and he rolls over towards Envy. Blink Dagger, 2 more seconds. Too long on cooldown, but the Shallow Grave from MMY. Ember Spirit back in again. Going for Fader. Spirit Jump. Spirit Ball. He takes it out. Envy will still be tossed around like a rag doll, but maybe he's going back in again. The creep wave actually hasn't ended. Where is he going? He's actually going into a place that is not his own, into the tree line to TP back to base, and he is home safely next to his backup rapier.
Yeah, I was actually thinking he was going to the stash to pick on the courier at home. But, okay.
You see his maneuverability during that fight. I almost don't want him to drop the Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
That's doing so much lifting.
That's why I was saying, like, he will probably drop the Lincolns before the Blink Dagger in this game and just let someone else buy an extra Lincolns.
Yep.
Or even the Battle Fury. At a very late stage, it's all about killing heroes.
And killing Roshan. This is the first Roshan LGD get to take the entire game.
Yeah, if they get this Aegis, this is really nice. Drop the drums on Gyrocopter.
I think your wish will be gained, man. That tier 1 tower's dying to just a creep wave in a moment. But Ember Spirit's got to get there. Like, he can Spirit in and he'll find the damage, but who's coming down? No-Tell. He doesn't have Tombstone available. Just throws the ward, so they cannot stop this Roshan.
Oh, they will try, though. They know how bad it will be if they don't.
They're right underneath an Observer Ward. Bone 7 jumps in. He found Xiao Wei. Started Fifth Syrian Chain, making so he can't drag him back any further. The Shallow Grave keeping Xiao Wei alive. He does have Force Up and Yule Scepter, and with the cooldown, they bought some space. Eternal Envy turns on the BKB and the Satanic, so no extra life steal in a moment. He's trying to get the kill. It's not enough. Xiao Wei, MMY keeping up his captain, and Sylar even in more trouble. They might want to have that. The fight's gone so long. The Tombstone's back off cooldown. Now down the high ground. They need to bring this down. The support's doing the work, so there goes your Tombstone. Eternal Envy, he's gonna drop. Maybe he's here on the front lines. He found the kill. It's a Death Gold. 66-66 going after Big Daddy No-Tell. Throwing him up. That's gonna be Yao doing the work. The more TP support, but it's Misery. Maybe he's hunting him down. Burning him. He'll use the cheese to stay alive. And No-Tell, where is this damage? We're split to 2 different sides. Misery, no, it's a crit.
Oh my
it was
God.
almost 2K. 1968 in the crit for that one. Cloud9, they're backing up with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, and they have nothing on the lineup of LGD right now. This is gonna be brutal. They have buyback available on Razor. He has to do it here. Can't just let the enemy take your entire base.
This will
Actually,
be it.
they have the tier 2 bottom, but they're still just gonna go for a throne here.
They still have the tier 1.
Oh, they're killing effigies. C9.
They're going for the GG push. They're actually using the Void to pick up the gem. That's a Void Courier. Sonic Wave. Okay, that's negligible. The tier 4 tower's dropping.
Envy, you have to buy back,
He has to come. Bone 7. There's your drag back. He always likes to wait till the last moment. Maybe he's very, very deep here. But then the defensive Spirit Fader with the Scream. Sylar and MMY. They're so low. They heal, and now Sylar turning on the Satanic, getting the life back from Envy. But Envy taking away his damage. 84 points. And Sylar dragged all the way back into the fountain. Not far enough to get the damage out from it. But you still have maybe doing the work. Cloud9, they're losing too many people. And Envy, he's in a nice coffin of death of LGD. How much damage? There he is. He's a jump away. Maybe can't stand here anymore. Xiao Wei will drop. Sylar still here on the front line. Start a fist back in again. The fortress exposed. They're beating it down. Bone 7, what have you got? Nothing. No life. Nothing. He's down 1653. That's the crit on him. This will be GG. There is no more defense. That's GG. LGD take game number 1 against Cloud9.
GG, well played. What a crazy game. LGD 70 minutes in and 6 seconds is when they managed to turn this around finally and take the enemy agent.
And it's going to be one long day for everyone watching. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be back for game number 2 of this 2-game series. LGD versus Cloud9 for the International 5.
Wow. Holy cow. I mean, a lot going on there, of course. I mean, a lot happening throughout that game. It ended up being a bit longer than maybe what some people expected, given how the first half panned out. But let's hear your thoughts on it. I mean, Cloud9 definitely, obviously, had the lead. They had a very
Sin was like, how does Cloud9 always keep finding themselves in this position?
It's a very classic Cloud9 game. They get really far ahead. They get 1 or 2 lanes of racks, and they have this, like, historically just have this problem finishing games, like breaching high ground. That is, for me, that's their only really major weakness. And I think the reason they haven't won many championships is that they don't win games like this one. It's early on in the group stage, so you could say it might not be that important in the end, but still, you know, it's kind of an ill omen of things to come if they get into the situation again. How's this going to affect them mentally going into game 2 and going further in the tournament?
Right, especially because it's been a historic thing. It's not just suddenly at TI. Like, this has been, like, this is kind of what a lot of people know of Cloud9. Like, that's their color, so to speak, which is not a good color to have. But Winner, I mean, what do you have to say about whether it's Cloud9 or LGD, of course, I mean, for them to hold on to that long, knowing that they can win that late game?
I mean, like what Sin said, they have difficulty finishing the game, but yet again, they are against one of the best teams at defending high ground.
Very true.
And if you look at in the history as well, LGD are always a team that they play very well when they are far behind, defending high ground, and they come back into the game after that. And if you look at this game, well, the lineups basically tell the story. Cloud9's lineup is more like they're stronger early game towards mid game. That's why they got the advantage in the early game. They got map control from Undying, taking better fights and stuff. But on the other hand, LGD has Ember plus Gyro. We know what's going to happen in the high ground when they have their items, and it's exactly what Cloud9 struggled to deal with in the later stages of the game. The Rapiers, Slide of Fist, and the splash from Gyro. So
yeah. I mean, you mentioned it. Let's take a quick replay at just exactly what highlights those compositions, right? We do have Cloud9. We talked about it. They had the stronger composition earlier on, and they took good advantage of it. I mean, you mentioned it too, Sin. I mean, they got 1 to 2 racks. They looked like they should be able to close out the game. They just weren't able to. But taking a look at one of their earlier pushes as they're nearing the base of the Radiant and pushing through, trying to go for the win. Now, we saw that happen repeatedly. Once we jump in, we're going to see the first time, and then we see it happen repeatedly, time and time again. Cloud9 are trying to get into that position, but they weren't able to. Now, okay, Winter, you mentioned that. All right, sure, composition-wise, there is a clear difference. If it goes later, obviously LGD is going to have an advantage, but for Cloud9, I mean, what is it there? Do you think it's something that they can switch in their draft to make it a little bit more versatile, or is it just simply a matter of how they go about the game?
I think in this game, the time they got the bottom racks was actually early enough, and I think they also got the top range racks fairly early.
Yeah. Right.
And the problem to me is that it seems like they're missing a little bit of foresight when it comes to the base push. So generally, when they siege high ground, one of 2 things happen: either they're way too cautious because they don't realize they're far ahead, or when they start getting momentum. This is a very momentum-based team, and they're like when they're rolling, they're really rolling, and sometimes they roll too hard. And in this kind of game, right, you're getting the racks. You're like, yeah, we're doing it, let's go, and they dive a little further, and then they're lacking the foresight of, oh wait, what happens if this and this hero has buyback? Like, you need to think of those things before it even happens, because else, the moment it catches you by surprise, you lose a big fight.
Right.
I think there was 1 key buyback or 1 key fight where the Ember Spirit, I think, got 2 or 3 kills. He got like 4,000 gold or something out of the fight, or at least a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah. And he goes and buys, I think it was the MKB, and then a little bit later he gets a rapier after the following fight or something.
Right.
You said MKB, right? He did get an MKB, yeah. So, you know, it's just one of those. It's super difficult to do. Like, I'm not blaming them for it, because this is like really advanced stuff, and you need to having that kind of foresight is exceptional, and it's, in my opinion, one of the reasons why Secret and EG are right now 2 of the best teams in the world, is that they don't get into this situation because they always think that extra step ahead. And to me, that's what Cloud9 needs to do, but it's so difficult to do.
Do you think there's any items lacking? Maybe a Crimson Guard. Crimson Guard is really good against Ember and
very
Gyro.
good, yeah.
They could have built it on possibly the Undying for their high ground siege. Maybe that would be helpful, or any sort of other items that is missing in their composition you think would be extra helpful?
I think Crimson Guard is definitely good, both against Gyro and Ember. So I would agree that's an oversight on their part, not getting that core item. But at the same time, that item also really falls off at like minute. I don't know when they would.
You have to get it at a very good timing, precise timing.
So, and what hero would they have picked it up on? They could have maybe got it on the Undying.
Yeah, he's like the best candidate, I'd say.
Or, you know, you could do something a little special and Bat Rider is a very special hero because it doesn't really, apart from like Blink Dagger and to an extent, you know, everything past Blink Dagger is kind of luxury on the hero. It's the only thing you really need. Blink Force and then luxury, right? So the question is, was the Mask of Madness the right choice? Bone 7 loves getting it because you get the max move speed, so you can pull them as far as possible with the Force Staff and everything, which is great. But at the same time, it kind of looks like no matter how far you pull them, as long as there's a grave available, you don't get the kill anyway on the opener.
True.
So maybe he could have gone for a utility item that they were lacking. I don't know if they had a Shivas on the Razor. Did they? No, he went Scott.
No, he went AC.
He went AC.
He went AC.
So they did. I think they didn't have a Shivas in their lineup, right? So they were lacking a Shivas. Did they have a Vlad's? You know, AOE armor in general is
they didn't
incredible
even
against
have a
that
mech,
kind of.
I think, for the early pushes, because I don't think anyone
so
got a mech.
Well,
itemization then, I guess, could have definitely been improved. But honestly, the way the game went, this was a win for them. If they
I
had
mean, like
played
you
it out
said,
right,
it seemed like they got the timings right for the earlier phases. It wasn't that they were late already. It's just how they were able to pan that out. So yeah, let's jump into that highlight of the early kind of aggression that we saw from Cloud9 and them taking advantage of their composition. As we're looking at this, of course, we're talking all from the point of view of Cloud9 because they had the lead earlier on. But Ben, let's talk a little bit about LGD. I mean,
LGD, they ideally want to fight really, really close to their base because then Ember can do so much damage. And Cloud9 actually get baited very, very close to the T4s in the fountain. And yeah, it looks like they're initially winning the fight and people are just melting to EE, but then he's really low and everyone has to TP out in the end. And I think this was their like first major casualty. They could have taken just 2 heroes and the Rax and then just backed off. But instead, they really wanted to do more heavy economic damage to Ember, to Gyro, and pursued them into the fountain. They didn't kill them, and they got punished super heavily for it. That was the beginning of the end.
Right on, yeah. So there were fights, I mean, of course, the later fights, I mean, with Ember running amok and pretty much dominating everyone on the side of Cloud9, as long as he was timing his positions right, that's not a big question. But earlier on, I mean, Cloud9, it wasn't just, you know, that, okay, our composition, we took advantage of it. Their fights weren't bad either, you know, going forward. I mean, they seemed to have their plays intact. Of course, the shallow graves were a bit of a bane, as you might imagine it always would be.
This is an exceptional fight. They 5-0 them here, and this is generally when you're ahead at this point this much, and you get a 5-0 like this, you convert it into something meaningful like Rax or a Roshan. I think Roshan is dead at this point in time, or I can't remember, but they get this team wipe, but it doesn't end up giving them enough. After that, we're always talking collateral, right? The collateral. Sometimes the fight in itself is enough. You get like a really big golden experience boost, but they didn't really need to get anything else than a tower in addition or something. Like it wasn't like they were far away from winning the game. But LGD's high ground defense, we were also talking about it even in the draft, it's a very difficult lineup to push against. Yes. In the early game, they have a lot of wave clear. In the late game, they have extreme spread damage. So it is a hard task, and LGD played it really, really well.
Yeah, the Blink Ember, I think, is really good, too, because a lot of times you'll just get caught off immediately after Sleight of Fist, but they were able to execute that really well. I mean, maybe's Ember is really, really good, and we've seen a lot of Ember lately.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I mean, in general, we've been surprised at the number of Embers we've seen, and then we were mentioning just, wow, maybe's Ember really kind of going crazy, and then when he got that second rapier, we were like, there's no way he's considering dropping that blink, right? Because that's been so crucial in his positioning. We saw that in the last fight, too, because once you get that rapier, if you die once, like, it's pretty big trouble, but he decided to keep that blink dagger until the very end.
I think Dazzle's actually the much bigger culprit as to why Ember's actually playable.
Yeah, and we did see that yesterday too during the wildcard play-ins. So as we're talking about Ember, let's go ahead and now look at the game from LGD's point of view. Of course, when did things start to turn around? As we jump into the game, we'll see that LGD, of course, from here on out, once they start taking one fight and then going forward, I mean, again, we talked about it, Ember and Gyro, you get those items, you know that you're going to be able to win those fights forward as long as you don't make a mistake on your end.
It's just so difficult to push high ground and not take too much damage from the Ember Spirit, and if you're up too far alone, you'll just get bursted down by Lina and Tusk. So it's no easy feat for Cloud9 to push up high ground. I thought their positioning overall was pretty good. Fada has a really aggressive blink. He refreshes, but isn't able to get the blink out here, and this is when Ember and Gyro start to get really scary.
I think if you're Cloud9, you're taking a siege like this, there's only one way you can siege the base. You have to start the fight with a lasso and kill someone right away. If the fight goes like somewhat long, Ember casts multiple slides, and there's a second flat cannon. You're not going to win that fight.
And we've built up too. There's just so many things that there are so many advantages.
They cannot win if the fight goes long. They have to win the fight right away. They lasso and they kill someone.
Now, so that's something you guys talked about when we were looking at the draft. Like, okay, well, maybe the Lion can help with that, you know, try to overcome the Shallow Grave and whatnot. And then some of the fights we were mentioning as we were talking, like, oh, that Shallow Grave seemed really early, but that's what they needed to do because, again, the burst was there.
I actually think there's one item that might actually be helpful. Since Cinderon was talking about maybe the Mask of Madness was like We're not sure how much he did. The other item that came to my mind was like use. You can actually blink, you lasso someone, you use the dazzle, then you come back up.
Yeah,
and it gives you movement speed, same like
Orchid on the Queen of
something
Pain.
like that.
Yeah, maybe
Orchid could have been
something.
really nice actually. That game.
Yeah,
So
but I'm
just
thinking
something
from the
else, yeah.
bad rider's perspective, an item that helps the cause of dealing with the dazzle, and an item that benefits himself. So use is
So
definitely.
him getting it himself so that he's already
Yeah.
in position
The
to use the
movement speed
Yules,
is helpful for him, and of course the disable on the dazzle.
Yeah,
I mean, they have so many escape tools. So they have the Tough Snowball, they have Glimmer Cape as well.
I
So
mean,
it's not only.
I'm not saying it will definitely help for sure, but
right, but
it
it's a
could be
possibility, yeah.
It could be a good
But
replacement.
now it's sounding like, I mean, you were mentioning this just a moment ago, Ben, that at the bottom of it, Dazzle seems to be the problem. Now, if you don't want to play against Ember, is Dazzle now looking like a hero that you want to start banning?
Get Axe. It counters both.
Or
get X. Yeah, there
Or
are
get
counters
X.
to Shallow Grave. You can also get Ancient Apparition. It's also pretty good. He's just going to shatter immediately after, and if he has like a Remnant out, he's still dead. So there are counters, and these, I mean, Dazzle used to be a lot more popular, and Axe and Ancient Apparition as well. So maybe it's time to start bringing those back.
That's true. I mean, again, because during the wildcard plans, we were like, okay, we're seeing a lot more Ember, but it's the wildcard teams. They do have, you know, their own pocket picks and whatnot. They play kind of in their own meta because they're coming up through qualifiers, and they're, especially like the C region, we don't really see that as often. But now we're seeing the case that Ember is still pretty popular. Of course, LGD bringing it back out. Winter, what are your thoughts? Do you think you try to go for the counters, or for now in the group stage, you try to take it a little bit more stable, start banning it out, and try to get more cards out of the other teams?
I think the main reason why he wasn't picked up so much because his laning phase was very weak, and he has trouble against so many heroes like Queen of Pain, Lash, and even if you put him on safe lane, you protect him, but sometimes you get under pressure against a double durable hero like Spirit Breaker, Undying, or Naga, Tuska, something along those lines. Ember doesn't stand well against that. That's why that's the main reason I feel why Ember has been falling off recently. But the hero is very suitable for the current meta where you keep fighting.
Right. So we talked a little bit about LGD versus Cloud9, but of course, tons of games going on this week. I already see that smile on Ben's face. He knows what's coming up. Now, we were watching some of the other games. It's a great smile. Ben has a great smile. But we were watching some of the other games, and I believe it was, the MVP Phoenix versus Complexity game had a huge moment. And I love it because I get to sit here with you guys, and you guys just went off when we saw this highlight. So let's jump into one of the crucial moments in that game, MVP versus Complexity. And you guys can run us through this moment, because I mean, Ben and Winter, you guys.
There
were
was
having
a
blast.
2-Rex for 2-Rex trade. Naga, Siren, they're trying to go for a 2-Rex for 2-Rex trade, and at this moment, I think they're actually going. What is the situation here? There was a really long.
Was this the black hole on
Yeah,
fall?
this is the black hole.
Yeah, it's coming up.
This was such a crucial moment for them because MVP, they didn't have the buyback on the Nature's Prophet, so they thought they were going uphill into a really good fight. But, like, you know, Envy types out the timers for Black Hole in all chat, and people make fun of him for it. But if they had done it there, they might not have.
This was the because they didn't know he had refresher. He just bought.
No, did he have refresher that
Yeah,
fight?
this
So he
was
used
the-
it.
okay.
He used it in base,
He
but
just
didn't
bought
carry
it.
it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because he didn't have it in his
Yeah,
inventory.
he didn't have it in his inventory.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he had refresher this fight.
Wow.
So
That is next level.
That is pretty next level.
He had-
Using
he
it
had
and then
he
dropping
had
it
empty
and then
slots,
showing
yeah.
it
He just
off.
bought refresher before the fight. I guess then
That's
he used
Yeah,
it.
we checked right before, and
and he dropped the refresher.
Yeah, because you guys were saying, oh, it must have just come up because
Yeah.
it looked like it wasn't up before,
Yeah.
but that's
crazy.
That's actually
And
actually
that's
makes
the
it much
main reason
better.
why everyone was like so clumped up. Like, there's no black hole, guys. Let's go.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. But that obviously helps to turn it around in Complexity.
It's a
Yeah.
nice
And
level
ultimately,
play.
the game didn't even end there.
Right, of course.
Because Complexity still had a lane of racks to take, and it almost ended up being Megas versus Megas in that game too. Complexity got the bottom racks, and then MVP almost got the enemy bottom racks, but crazy
MVP
game.
games.
MVP
games are the
No,
games to
and-
watch this TI5.
And you know, Will, it's very rare you see games that go so long with a core Naga and you're on the losing side, you know?
Yeah,
It's
That
very
is
rare.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you guys were telling me that game just overall.
He was even
definitely
like
to
saying,
watch.
oh, it's just another Naga game.
They have a lot of good heroes to deal with it, though. I actually think that their lineup was very suitable. They had DK, they had Nature's Prophet, as well as Enigma, 3 heroes that can end the game very, very early, especially in tandem.
Yeah, so if you guys just want pure excitement, regardless of who you're rooting for, MVP Phoenix, definitely the team to follow, at least in the group stage. We'll see how that goes, how far that goes. Of course, for now, Game 2 getting ready between LGD and Cloud9 here on the main stream. The other 2 matches are going on Stream B and Stream C. Just to remind you guys, Complexity versus MVP Phoenix on Stream B, and Fnatic versus Secret on Stream C. So you guys will be able to catch all the matches. Secret is up 1-0
Yes.
in that match.
Yeah.
Thanks for
And
reminding me.
Yeah, and that game was pretty one-sided. I think Fnatic showed signs of life, but it generally Secret managed to get a very farmed Viper and just their execution, and they got
some of their really core heroes that they love to play.
Yeah,
they
let's,
had Naga,
let's jump into the last
Darkseer.
moments here just to see that draft as you're mentioning it, and then we can have everyone, and they can see, okay, yeah, that's like the secret heroes we know. Maybe we want to go watch that. Give them a little primer. So let's jump into the last moments of Game 1 between Fnatic and Secret, and so you can continue telling us. I mean, Secret, so going with just what you would expect from Secret.
They don't have buybacks where they really desperately need them. Because this is the
So
game.
we see here both Gyro and Viper really high up on the net worth. They've managed to get a lot of farm, and it's pretty rare that you see a core Naga having less net worth than a Crystal Maiden. But it's one of the beautiful things of this as a support hero is that you don't really Naga, the Blink Dagger, and the Solar Crest we see here from Kuroki is actually more than enough. It's all about getting a good song off, and yeah, this. They're trying to isolate here.
The song Blink to take the free racks.
Yeah.
It's a very tricky distance. But yes, I think Winter and I watched it, and it was just the way that Secret plays. If you give them like a 7,000-8,000 gold advantage with Roshan, with a lineup that scales well all game, which is almost always what they draft, it's very difficult to drop.
Yeah, their draft is very all-rounded. They have very good lanes. They have Teamfight, Darkseer, and Song, Gyro. They have good late game, and laning phase strength is very strong as well. They have Viper plus Gyro, two of the strongest cores in the lane.
And
so
CM.
Yeah, and CM. So everyone is very efficient in farming because of the aura, very good team fight. It's just very good lineup in general at all stages of the game.
Yeah, I think that's the fun part about watching Secret is that they always have those stable drafts and whatnot. So then we know that there are teams that can fight against Secret, but that's when we get to see the extra tricks they have up their sleeves. It's like, all right, now we've taken these picks, we've banned this. What do you got, Secret? And they're like, oh, we've actually got like 5 more prepared. Just so you guys know, we'll just pick any hero we want. We'll just go ahead and steamroll through the game. So again, I mean, 2 weeks. Hopefully, we can look forward to more. So already from yesterday to today. I mean, I don't think anyone can complain that we're not seeing a diversity in heroes, of course, given also the teams we have, all the different regions coming together. But in LGD versus Cloud9, do you think we're going to see something drastically different on the side of Cloud9 in terms of bans, or obviously, picks in terms of like taking it away from LGD?
I think maybe a different approach. They might actually go for more like, I think Sin mentioned this before, go for a more late game route with like anti-mage or PL, something that's more, Envy is always more on all these type of heroes. When he has to play Viper, Razor, it feels like sometimes he is not at his zone.
Yeah, so game 1, you were mentioning that, Sin. Anti-mage was banned, but there were, of course, other options open.
PL was.
Yeah, I believe anti-mage was the only late game.
I mean, the laning phase wasn't set up for something like that. They'd have to complete.
Yeah, it's like the whole draft wasn't set up. The reason they didn't pick it was because they didn't have a plan that they wanted to go for something like this. I'm just saying maybe the overall plan could be switched towards.
Is the problem the Undying? Is he too one-dimensional?
I mean, they could have.
They could have won the game.
Right.
Yeah,
but in terms of the draft here, like, do you lock yourself in too much? Obviously, again, we're talking because they lost, right? If they had won, we wouldn't have this discussion. It'd be like, all right, they knew what they were doing. They got the Undying. They pushed with it. They won the game early.
I think when you're playing against a team of this caliber like LGD, I personally I wouldn't call Undying a first phase pick. I think it gives a lot of information when you pick that immediately. The enemy, obviously, you saw LGD immediately started planning for how are we going to defend against this 5-man, and they picked a lineup that was really tailored to do it. They ultimately almost still lost the game, right? But they at least they knew what they wanted to do, and perhaps delaying Undying into a second phase pick and just starting with a different, more flexible opener that it's not one-dimensional, and then ultimately if you see, oh, now we actually have a great opening to pull Undying in here, then maybe you could do that, because I think Cloud9 is a really solid team at playing against Undying too. I don't think they have to be nervous of giving it away in the first phase to a team like LGD.
Okay, so maybe just shifting the priority a little bit, not necessarily having to really change the direction overall. Sounds like a good plan. It looks like all players are ready. We can see them all getting comfortable again. Cloud9 does seem like they had a nice little break to gather themselves, get back into game 2. Of course, best of 2 system, so it is a point system. So if you tie, I mean, that's pretty good. Not only do you get a point, but that's also, you got to start thinking eventually you're denying points from the other teams, right? So you're denying LGD 2 extra points if they get that 2-0 versus a 1-1 score.
It really makes me happy to see Pazarel as the coach of Cloud9. He's a really great guy. Goes back very long. I guess you remember that from back when you played
the Elder Gods,
the very early competitive Dota 1 when tournaments were playing for $200 or the Elder Gods. The Romanian.
He was actually one of the first international teams that I played.
Yeah, and he was, I think, at one point, TG was actually the best team in the world. Yeah. The Romanian squad with him as, I believe he was the captain of the team back then. Or he was at least one of the players. Right. And he's doing a lot of like Romanian coverage work, behind the scenes stuff, and I guess
Now
Bone
here.
7 recommended him as a coach.
Right.
Obviously, they're good friends, so
For TI.
nice to see. And it looks like he gels well with the players as well. It looked
Oh,
like
yeah, for sure.
He's keeping the morale high. That's what I got out of that short shot, at least.
Yeah,
so.
oh, yeah. I mean, after the game ended, of course, everyone's a little bit down if you lost, but it does seem like they're ready to climb back into it. So hopefully, if you're a Cloud9 fan, there's something to look forward to. Already, I mean, everyone was talking after yesterday too, like with the base races and whatnot. Always like Cloud9 can just play their own game and they can kind of go with their style and whatnot. Didn't work out in game 1, but we're going into draft of game number 2. Can Cloud9 come back in, tie it 1-1, or is LGD just going to run away with the series here? Do you think LGD on the other side, do they have to worry about anything? Like, do they want to? Because again, it's a long tournament. You don't want to have to show your cards early and all of them in like the first week during the group stages.
I think it's with the whole 3 points for 2-0 and 1 point for draw in comparison to previous years when it was just 1 point per win. I think sometimes it will be worth, like, I don't know if I would call it showing a strategy, but definitely just
changing things up a little bit.
It's, I think, going for a 2-0 against a top contender like Cloud9 is maybe worth burning a strategy on. I don't know. So you have those 3 points from a top
Going
opponent.
1-1 is like losing, though, it feels sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you get only 1 point.
Especially if you're up 1-0, right?
It's like no different from like 0. I mean, of course, there's 1 point at least, but it's like you still lose 2 points. So why not use something and secure
the value
3 points?
difference
Like,
is
it's
pretty high.
3 points to 1 point. So I would say it's worth it to burn something.
All right. Well,
Wouldn't they have burned it in the first game though?
Well, I
maybe
mean
the
that's also.
maybe
I mean
the
that
second
depends on the
game.
matchup too, though, right? If you're confident you can try to get a win no matter what, then you would try just a stable play or what you're comfortable with in game 1, and then once you lead 1-0, you're like, all right, let's secure those 3 points. So that's another thing to consider, of course.
Oh boy.
So what are we looking at? Oh wow.
Oh boy.
The blue dude.
The blue dude.
Okay. Well, I actually didn't imagine that happening at all today.
So the reason this hero is valued as high as it is in the current meta, and I'm actually really surprised Cloud9 are giving it away. They're going to counterpick it immediately. But the reason Leshrac is so good is that he is very strong in lane. He wins most one-on-one matchups mid. He crushes melees. He can harass and sustain against ranged heroes. Like even a hero like Queen of Pain actually on paper loses slightly to Leshrac. So he's a great laner. He's a great mid gamer. He can push with Edict. He now also scales very well into late game because of Octarine Core, which I think he is the absolute best hero in the game to get it on, in addition to Naga Siren. So there's just been a couple of changes that have really buffed Leshrac so much that you're going to see if that hero gets through the ban phase, it's a first phase pick. I think every single game of the tournament, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, that's been the case for some time now.
So.
Mana Burn is the name of the game.
Yeah, there you go.
We need a cuddle, we need a Nyx.
So
there's EMP.
I mean, it definitely looks like Cloud9 decided, all right, we're going to take this risk. We're going to try this out this time just to stop LGD from getting the 2-0.
Yeah, they're like, we can only get 1 point anyway.
Yeah, so why not?
Maybe.
I mean, at worst, like other people expect, it's not something too shocking if you give the Lesh. Obviously, you want to have some counter picks ready, so other teams aren't going to be too surprised by what Cloud9's doing. I want to bring up a point, though, as we go forward. Undying, I mean, ever since yesterday, too, you guys keep mentioning, is it really that much of a priority? Because most teams are now used to it.
For some teams.
I think depends on who you're actually planning to ban it against. I think especially against the Chinese team, some of the teams might feel that because it's something that they are very used to playing 5-man and they're very comfortable, it's not worth giving away the Undying to them. Unless you're extremely confident, like your secret, you're like, we'll just get Keeper of the Light, we illuminate, we charge the creep wave away, and we just push everywhere, and Undying's useless.
All right. Okay, so Cloud9.
Yeah, I think the Chinese teams are a little bit weaker in their laning phase and more rely on their mid and late game decision making. And like Undying just covers most of their weaknesses. They're a very early game team fight as well as their laning phase. So.
This is pretty interesting because most of the time Leshrac is played as a mid lane core, and they're grabbing Shadow Fiend. So this makes me think that, what's interesting is if you open with a Leshrac pick and the enemy team is like, we have to counter pick Lesh, just put him on support.
Yeah.
And your 2 cores are suddenly not countered by Pugna and Anti-Mage at all. And then you farm a Shadow Fiend who has a great matchup against both of these. He has pretty low mana cost, so doesn't care too much about the Nether Ward. Against Anti-Mage, he comes online very early, hits very hard with physical damage, which Anti-Mage doesn't like. And I actually think just from this pick alone that LGD are not playing a core Lesh.
Yeah, I think it might actually happen. And you know what? Shadow Demon is good versus Anti-Mage. So they have Shadow Demon Lesher. So it could be something that LGD is looking. And it's one of their favorite, like it's a Chinese type of roamings support. Shadow Demon plus Lesher.
Yeah, so
man, they are counterpicking with Lesh so hard.
I mean, but at that point, right, like, what do you think? I mean, Cloud9, they kind of already showed that they wanted to counterpick it anyway with the Pug Knight and the Animage. Do you think it's just fair for them to just go with it and say, all right, even if we see the Shadow Fiend, we're just going to go with it?
I mean, they've first picked Pug Knight before without a Leshrac.
Yes, they have.
So
but it's a while ago.
It is a while ago.
Pug Knight, right?
Yeah, but it's again, the Pug Knight doesn't have to be a core role either. They can just swap it up. And Anti-Mage is a good carry versus
in general
a wide array of lineups. Yeah, it's not like only good versus Leshrac. So I mean, yes, it is targeted against the Leshrac, but I still think that both teams can make it work.
Wow. Well,
how can we kill Lesh with our entire?
Well, Clock's also good versus Shaker.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right. So,
it's a good pick.
So it looks like, I mean, both teams kind of leaving their options open, right? I mean, LGD, sure, okay, we don't have to put Lesh as a core. At the same time, Cloud9's like, all right, if you don't want to, sure, we're like super hard countering it, but we can play the game out in different ways.
I'm more surprised at the DK ban.
Okay, what's going on?
Support
so
Lesh.
This is Lesh is
I mean, yeah, so now it's pretty clear, right?
Support Lesh. And then they're picking an offlane last. I
think
this is the right
Earthshaker might be the offlane if they
That
want
is
to go
a
for Shadow
possibility.
Demon. I mean, because Shadow Demon plus Leshrac
Does Yao ever play that though?
Yeah, he does.
Offshaker? Okay.
He does.
So they could do
it. And you were bringing up what the DK ban. I mean, kind of what stands behind that for Cloud9.
Oh, I was
you were
why the DK ban, because they could have put Shadow Fiend mid to Leshrac mid. Shadow Fiend in the side lane is not terribly strong, and you want to be able to have strong lanes so you can limit anti-mage's farm. I think what's even more surprising is that Quap has been completely ignored, and Cloud9 has stolen Lina from LGD.
Yeah,
so like a lot of priorities have just completely changed.
That
in
is
this game.
true.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've seen a big swap here. I mean, mainly, of course, we're seeing it due to the Lesh.
Xiao 8 is really good on Lina, though. I think it's actually really smart to pick that over the Queen of Pain in this particular game, because fitting in Queen of Pain and Shadow Fiend and Leshrac is not going to be terribly easy.
Seems like Cloud9 thinks that the Lash is still a core. They're taking out the IO.
Or they're expecting it to be a core shaker. And then they want to remove Wisp Gyro.
Yeah, as well.
Okay.
So Cloud9 still technically needs, if you consider Pug Knight support and Lina as a core, so they still need another support.
Right.
It could also be support Pugna Lina, and then they can still get the Quap Ben was talking about. I actually think that would be a pretty nice choice here. Because they need... The clock is going to set the force the fight to start with hookshot, and then they can plant down the Nether Ward. And then if Quap can take all the enemy heroes down to say half or a third health maybe,
and
with
the
a bit of luck,
mana void
the Nether Ward can actually put so much pressure on them.
And
that
mana
they
void
can't
will
cast
kill
their
stuff
spells.
as well. So
yeah.
Okay.
It will make Cloud9's draft pretty one-dimensional.
Right. I was just about to mention that. Like, doesn't that kind of lock them into just hoping for that to happen?
Yeah.
Like, that's what their one dream.
But I'm still slightly worried that almost no matter what they pick right now, they kind of have to play, Anti-Mage gets space, and then the other 4 heroes need to be able... you're looking at LGD's lineup and you're imagining what 4 heroes can actually fight those 4 heroes right now from Cloud9's side.
I still think they have really strong lanes. I definitely don't think it's one-dimensional. Like, Anti-Mage is a pretty good matchup versus Shaker. Lina has a good matchup versus almost everyone in mid. Clockwork's really strong at...
Oh, yeah, for the lanes themselves, sure.
Yeah.
But if you look at the overall game plan, it's the options this lineup of Cloud9
I mean, LGD also doesn't have really good catch. They can just, apply pressure on multiple points on the map with Pug Knight and Anti-Mage with a threat of Clockwork always hookshotting in.
So Winter, what do you think? Do you think then that's something LGD should consider? In terms of rounding that out?
You mean...
So Ben was just mentioning, well, LGD doesn't have that much catch. That's what's making Cloud9 also more versatile.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel if you are going to run Lash as a support, it's very important to have a right partner to it, like something that can allow you to gank. If you're going for Shadow Demon, obviously you still don't have that good of a catch, but you need to somehow compensate it with another hero. Like maybe someone gets a Hex, or maybe like Earthshaker gets an early Blink. So that's going to be your catch if you're going to go along that route. So, I mean, you have to balance things out between the other heroes with items.
I think it's so risky relying on Earthshaker alone versus a Clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's their lineup, though. If you are running a support Lash, you're not going to be expecting a Hex from him.
I like the Shadow Demon a lot, though.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's good.
All right. Well, Rubik was the selection for Cloud9.
There's a couple of good spell steals. Fissure is obviously great. Leshrac is a really good hero to pick Rubik against.
Requiem,
if you get either...
Requiem of Souls as
Requiem
well.
is great, and it's very easy to steal too. Split Earth and Lightning Storm are both incredible on Rubik. Having a 0 cast point Split Earth is absolutely gone.
I mean, not only that, his Null Field is really, really good for Sir.
Null Field is great too. But most of the time when we see Rubik's support played, he either goes 4-4-0 or you get at least 2 points in telekinesis. So the time you get null field up to level 4, you're generally like 25 minutes into the game. And then
Think of all the magic resistant anti-mage will have, though.
Oh, that's the
Just
plan.
think about it.
and then
And then you get a
decrepify
glimmer,
him.
and then you get a glimmer kit.
And a pipe on him.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely horrible.
I like how he builds everything up.
Yeah.
I think so. LGD will okay.
Okay,
All right,
Bane.
that was not what I was thinking.
But that's still a good partner with
Yeah.
the Lash, and it's very important where you have someone to set up so you can gank with Lash early on. So there might be a lot of smoke gangs.
I mean, it's difficult to play against Bane and Rubik and Clockwork, though. Like, it's I think it's a very risky pick.
Yeah,
For the Bane,
but
for
I
the Bane.
still think it's important for them to get someone to set up for the split off. And Bane in team fights is good against mobile carry like anti-mage. So
True.
I mean, it's hard to execute, but it's something they need against anti-mage.
Okay, so I mean, at that point, it's just what you needed. It's not
Yeah.
about the matchup anymore. This is something we've always come back to, right? It's like, all right, at that point, you focus on what your team needs. Try to play it out. LGD, they did take the first game, so at worst, they tie 1-1. It's not like they're going to get 0 points. They're getting something out of their very first game. Cloud9 now fighting to tie this up, make sure they can secure 1 point before they go on to their second match. Obviously, you want to open up TI5 with 1 point on the scoreboard. It feels nice. LGD going for the 3-0. If so, I mean, people putting LGD in the top 3 doesn't look too bad. So let's jump into game 2 and find out if Cloud9 can fight back.
Yeah. It's wonderful. Wait, what? What, really? Yes. Waka.
All right, then.
All right, let's get ourselves into the game. And so, second game of the series, pushing for the 3 points LGD. Cloud9 try and draw it back and keep them at 1 apiece. It will be LGD versus Cloud9 here for the International 5 group stages, day 1.
Yeah. Day 1 is starting, and we see LGD running down as 5 into C9's jungle here. C9 just trying to go out and see if there's any warding going on.
They see them all.
Just trying not to go too far in. Fisher, very dangerous.
Nice observed ward from Notel, leaving it behind.
Defensive ward. Yeah.
Just checking out. Is that that's not close enough to block the camp, is it? I think it's fine.
No. It's good.
The dire observer one will, however.
So they pretty much saw where they dropped that ward because of that. They actually still had vision of them running in there and placing it. So now they can make a little bit easier D-ward. They should be able to find that. But they're actually switching lanes already. They are moving their anti-mage to top, it seems. Oh, they're changing their mind again. Bone 7 going back to top. And Terran Envy going back to bottom.
Well, now they get the vision of what's happening in the middle lane. So they see Sala, maybe MMY and Zhao. Wait, it's literally an LGD
They're
train.
giving up both the bounty runes.
They are. So the first one's going to go to Yao. He's really defensive. He doesn't really want to go for this. Misery, okay, yeah. He's thinking maybe he can fire telekinesis
bottom
grab.
is denied.
Okay, yeah. Notel will take care of that one.
Yao was really scared. He was like, I don't want to go for that rune. And then
it's dangerous.
No Tail was on the high ground, like, well, we can't take it, so just kill it.
You walk close enough that you could get telekinesis grabbed. Because Yao took so long, he doesn't get the fissure block on the first wave.
Yeah. He also had to use one fissure there because he was so scared to check it. So in the end, it's still fine. I mean, no bounty rune the way of C9, so LGD is still going to be happy. And he does have a dual lane here with Zhao 8. So his lane is pretty strong. Zhao 8 will harass against the Pugna.
And how's this top lane then meant to work? So you've got MMY. Do you just like Nightmare into a Rocket Barrage? You even get aggressive like that, knowing the Pwn 7's... Well, you don't know he's only got cogs. But he's only got cogs.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that top lane. I'm just looking at bottom and thinking this lane is gonna crumble. There's 1 tango on No Tails Pugna, and there's 4 tangos on Anti-Mage. That's it. That's all your regen. And you don't have any items on Pugna. I don't think you can
just believe in the RNG of...
I mean,
one, the lightning not hitting Eternal Envy, and 2, the PMS.
You're going up against 2 salves, clarities, and 7 tangos.
They're getting aggressive. There's already your first stun out in Envy and Notel. Yep, they go for the second with a Split Earth.
I dodged it, at least, very nicely there. And meanwhile, on top lane, yeah, just looking at it, it's just seems like they can't really stop the Gyrocopter from farming either. So the 2 lanes working out really beautifully on LGD, so that puts a lot of pressure over on Fada. He has to do well on the mid lane.
It's very difficult though, because he hasn't stopped the SF from getting early CS. Like it's 5-0. The SF's already managed to pick up a bottle. 2-minute rune controls can be really important for him, but at the same time, look where Misery's moving.
Yeah.
He's coming in to try and find the gank from up in the Dire jungle. In fact, the Courier snipe, he's in the perfect position for it. With boots first,
moving.
the Courier down, run you catty cat. Into the trees and away to safety.
He juked it, and he finds the S4 rune. Beautiful. Very nice rune there for Shadow Fiend. Well, This is actually making the laning phase extremely hard for C9. They also did not get the D ward on the pull camp. Look at the bottom. Look at the sentry. It's so close.
It's just off.
Yeah, and the other sentry also. Even though they saw when they put it down.
They actually brought Envy into. Are they?
Oh,
no!
It's a disaster.
Oh, it's like the holy death.
Where is it?
Like this is the isosceles triangle. You don't want to get A does not equal B, and you did not want C.
Yeah, I mean this. With 3 sentries, you should get that D ward, but this camp is ridiculously big to begin with, so it's really hard to be certain where the ward is. That said, though, these are not ideal sentries, really.
No.
The two on top are overlapping really hard.
Yeah, you got mass overlap, and they must have really thought it was in the tree line to the east. Like, that's the only reason they put it there. They're going to be really spitting chips when they look back at that replay later on.
Definitely, and that puts them in such a bad spot, because they can't run up and farm. Anti-Mage is not touching the creeps enough. He has 6 CS. He's doing a good job pulling back the creep there. Managed to sneak 1. That's what you have to do here. Try and run up, aggro the creeps, pull them back, and, you know, get whatever CS you can get.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's still having to keep on par with Sylar, who is 18-9, the highest CSer on the board. And even this middle lane, like, Fader might be really close to the CS of maybe, but at the same time, you have to remember what... Actually, I suppose both can do it with the farming of the jungle.
Yeah, both can do that. However, it's a Shadow Fiend. Like, in true terms of just transitioning into right-click and carry potential, you have to respect the Shadow Fiend's farm more. Of course, Lina, though, needs all the farm she can get so she can actually carry this game in the early stage.
Has Envy abandoned the lane? Like,
pretty much.
He's walked away coming down for the 4-minute rune.
I mean, I think he jungles.
Like,
but there's no small camp, though, so he has to jungle medium camps.
Xiao Wei's actually stronger than him, and he even gets a regeneration rune after throwing out the stun.
Envy tried to blink in and steal it, but wasn't able to do that.
So they turn Notal into a core. You do have 1 stack, like the Alpha the Mud Golems there, but he's got
You're not turning him into a core, he's just on the lane, sort of. He has a magic stick, that's it. He has no boots even.
Okay, like, this is where I get concerned. When you look at a replay and you follow Eternal Envy's track, and you basically got him walking up to the stairwell, he then loops around to try and check out the rune area.
I mean, what is
comes,
going on
And
right
then comes
now?
back up again to walk to the side, and then walks back over. Like, we're basically playing loop-de-loop.
The diving?
They're coming in for the mid.
This is not... That's not the play?
No, because Yao's got Fisher, and TP support should be available. Misery underneath the tower. In comes the Bane as well. He's not close enough, though. They need to lock him on the other side.
Yeah, they didn't get him there. And they're 3 heroes, so they're pretty strong. I think LGD just needs to back out here. Cannot go in. But I think they're in this stage where, you know, a wise man or a crazy man once said that when a game starts going like this, he just tries to create as much chaos as possible until no one can understand Dola. That's pretty much what you have to do at this stage. They are having 4 of their heroes at the bottom of the CS list. When the Bane is over your anti-mage in last hits, that's when you know.
Yeah, you're having significant troubles here. Misery's going to make a move down to the bottom lane. They have dropped down the Nether Ward, but Xiao Wei, like, you'll get a little bit chipped when he throws out the lightning, but then he moves deeper inside the tree line. He's actually holding clarities as well for Yao.
Yeah. Oh, he might be...
available, you're always going to get a little bit more space. Okay, maybe not this much space. And now the TP support arrives in. The lightning's slowing them down. Look for that strike stun. They get the hit over on Misery, and Notal doesn't want to run away from this one. It's Scrap will do some work, but in comes Sylar. Not 1, but 2 to pick up the double kill. First blood spilled, and a disastrous start for Cloud9.
Yeah, what a start for Sylar. Just TPing down there, and he's like, oh, you prepared 2 kills for me? I'll just pick up these 2 and then go push for a tower, or just transition back to my farming. Is that the full drums for him now, or Aquila? He is sending out the Aquila and also the Magic Wand upgrade. All right, so Sylar is doing great.
There was only 1 casualty that LGD had to suffer during that fight. There was the Mango on Yao.
Rip Mango.
That was the only casualty of war.
It was a hero.
And then you get arcade boots up for Xiao Wei now. They throw the fissure and hit Envy with a stun. The lightning! They actually combo it.
Yeah.
He only moved down there to throw the
ward.
ward.
Such a dangerous dual lane. I mean, this is not even really a core Leshrac per se, because both of them are cores. Both of them are farming down here. The Shaker and the Lesh just working together. Top lane, Bane actually being caught out here.
Yeah, but the Nightmare's going to protect him, and Sylar in with a full call down. Rocket Barrage, MMY, even on 33 life, you'll survive. Oh, the spirits are being crushed right now. of Cloud9, while LGD party hard all night long, while NoTail bottom lane, he's in trouble, throwing down the Nether Ward. But it's such a simple combo, and they can keep doing it because of the arcane boots.
Yeah, and they don't really care about this level 2 ward. It deals 1.25 damage per mana use. Okay, fine. But the two of us are both going to use our mana to kill you.
Fader.
Oh, the stack.
He's trying to contest the stack, but Yao is the one man who TP'd in. Fitch is over on Fader. Now 1 raise, 2 raise, and the creeps, they're actually coming up to maybe. Fader will salve up and run away.
Yeah, he's going to have to run away, and that stack is pretty much secured. Shadow Phoenix got cleared right away. Actually, they might try and stack it one more time. Yeah, he's going to wait for the timing.
No.
Oh, he doesn't.
Raise 1, raise 2. He can actually kill it before the timing arrives.
Yeah, it's going to spawn anyway, so that's perfectly fine.
So okay. So Cloud9 try and switch things up a little bit.
A little bit.
They've pushed MV into the middle lane.
Yeah.
This means now that Fader has no home. And Misery is still roaming with him. NoTail is the man who has turned into this semi-core role, sitting back behind the Tier 1 tower, because he's the only man that can sort of farm on this lane with Nether Blast.
He can get experience down here at least and make sure that the tower doesn't die. It's about running up, Nether Blasting, as you say, and just trying to keep it alive. He's just pinging the Leshrac right now, like, I don't want to do anything against this. But he's getting experience. That is the important part.
LGD's going to pressure more. It's a 3-man smoke and they're moving to bottom lane. So NoTail's just throwing down the Nether Wall. They're still alive for 25 more seconds. By the time this gank arrives, actually smoke broke on MMY. Just on the left, so they know Eternal Envy is in the trees, and he's trying to use like this one gap wide farming strat.
Yeah, he's choke point jungling right now.
That's
cutting down trees with his Quelling Blade. And very nice that he did have the double damage there, so he could farm up a little bit
They're
faster.
They're going to smoke up and move. Clockwork's got a hook shot.
Yeah, and they saw him, they pinged him. Not going Xiao right away.
They do not want to go in on this one. MMY is still here, and he's going to Nightmare over. Actually, he Nightmares up and keeps NoTail out the fight. So Leshrac will end up dying here.
That's
and with
2 kills.
Laguna Blade, yep, they get some revenge. LGD not finding the perfect moment.
That was a very nice smoke timing there for Bone 7 to be coming in and, you know, just getting in the rear end of LGD's rotation there. Finding out the Leshrac.
Envy's trying to be sneaky as well. He's grabbing the Dire Creep Wave and dragging it from between the Tier 1, Tier 2 towers in mid.
He's going to pull them to Ancients and farm them there. Or is he?
No, he's bringing it back to the mid.
All right. All right.
I think initially he was looking to maybe just not want to give him this room. But I think initially he was just looking for more damage on that Tier 1 tower in mid. It's pretty low as it is.
Yeah, he just wants any gold he can find right now. He's scrambling to find anything. Man. Poor man Envy just running around. Meanwhile, I feel almost equally bad for Big Daddy NoTail just sitting on bottom lane because you know they're going to come down here again. The Leshrac is not going to switch lane until this tower is gone. So farming on the lane right now, very dangerous.
Schmuck time again.
Fisher is going to lead up.
Yeah.
This is going to be a kill.
And NoTail's got no Nether Ward down, so there's Fissure 1, Stun 2, Brain Sap and Lightning, and it just looks easy as pie.
Fisher from the smoke, as it has such a long cast range, it's, you know, if you just stand on the lane, you're guaranteed dead. Meanwhile, Sylar playing very careful top because he doesn't know where most people are right now. So that means that Rubik is actually being able to lane a little bit and getting closer to level 6.
Sylar's probably going to protect himself. If he dies, that's a lot to be given over.
Oh, yes.
Like, he's almost 5k net worth 10 minutes into this game. In fact, overall, like, all that 5k net worth is almost the advantage that LGD had until those last 2 kills on bottom lane.
Yeah. I mean, the advantage right now is pretty much gonna increase as well because they didn't take a single tower until just now, and they will start making the rotations from tower to tower. But that also gives Envy a chance to start running around in the jungle and farm.
Well, it's nice the Clockwork now has a Blade Mail, but there's not much to go with that. Like,
Brown Boots Blade Mail, it's the new fashion, dude.
Yep.
I mean, I would like to see a magic wand with it as well, but if you gotta get your Blade Mail early on Clockwork, do what you gotta do, because Blade Mail is core for this hero, so extremely core. Now he can hook in and know he can punish Shadow Phoenix.
There it is. Goes on maybe, but the Fissure actually off target. Doesn't really get the Sun in control. They Nightmare on the SF. Actually evaded. He just evaded Laguna?
Yeah.
Maybe. Throwing back out again. The call down from Sylar and Bone 7. Fiend's Grip, NoTail trying to give the life, but it's not enough when Yao jumps in for the Echo. They've lost 2. They're going to lose 3 here. And they actually keep Misery alive. Potentially could have gone for 4. Envy jumps in. He actually, well, actually doesn't find anything. He man breaks us some decent damage, but the SF was the only casualty of war, and that was dying to the Pugna.
That was so beautiful play
to the leader.
by Mama, yeah. Going in there and getting the Nightmare on the Shadow Fiend as the Laguna King. Just perfect. Like, could not have been better.
And MMY, take my energy. You're doing beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah, truly. And deny attempt? Oh, that was so close by No-Tail.
They actually pulled out a little bit early there, LGD, but Sylar stuck around a little bit longer. Gets the money for himself. What's coming on that courier? So the O clubs arrive for Sylar. You've got almost 1,300 life on this gyro with the phase boots. His damage output's wonderful.
Yeah.
And they're going to smoke. They want to keep the pressure on. No tier 1 tower. Make the most before C9 can get vision up.
Probably gonna go straight for the BKB as well, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go into the Sanxiaxia build in this game as well. Well, let's see if they can find Fada here.
If he runs for the trees, and he ran for the trees,
Fissure is available.
This is the one time you don't listen to HYHY. Fader, real trouble.
Yeah, and that means the top tower is compromised, so they're just gonna try and push mid. They do have, well, it's only a level 1 Nether Blast, so I'm not gonna say they have good pushing.
Yeah.
But they're actually wrapping around
And they're gonna lose a courier too if they're not careful. Zhao wait, one attack. Gyro, and oh, it's not enough. 20 HP, but hookshot comes in. They go on Zhao wait. The Fable will help do the job, but the call down. Bone 7, the Blade Mail! Sylar kills himself!
Beautiful.
That is a huge kill. And then
healing
why? Yep, they're keeping Bone 7 alive. It's No-Tail again using that drain to actually funnel it into Misery. MMY, the fissure, actually stolen by Misery, slowing him down. They have to keep the run going, but MMY, he would love to make it to the regeneration room, but avoids the rocket. SF is tanking the top tower. They'll TP support in.
They want
Yao,
this.
he's got a fissure available, keeping Fader and everybody out.
Ah, that's a nice fissure by Yao. Wow, with that Blade Mail, though, paying dividends in that fight. So Clockwork doing some good work. Bone 7 has been playing really well in this game. His score, 3 kills, 2 deaths, and 2 assists.
This is so much space creation, and No-Tail, okay, well, now he might be dead. Okay, well, the cross fissure.
They're like, yeah, you're not leaving. You're staying there, buddy. The X marks the spot. Oh, poor Pugna. But it is just a Pugna. It doesn't really matter if he does.
It's just an easy kill for the SF, and probably more than anything else, just seeing that money come into the SF after he's already picked up the mech.
Yeah.
And the gyrocopter, like, he was the bigger kill. The fact they got the kill on him.
Oh, the dominating streak? Yeah, they killed that.
It was a 4-0 for Sylar, and he was so far ahead in the net worth, but he still is. But what they've created is space for eternal envy.
They actually got killed. No, he should have thrown him back.
Or maybe.
Oh, they could have killed the Shadow Fiend there, actually, with the Blade Mail, but their Sentry Ward at least keeping the Rubik safe. Almost got a kill from it.
It's like bottom lane, Envy has to blink himself away. Sylar's getting up in his face. But this top tower is very low. It's actually within deny range too.
It is now, yeah.
So it's the choice.
There's a ward. They're gonna get rid of this, the lane ward. I like the deep ward by LGD on the top part of the map, the one next to the temple. Very nice.
It's a little bit more of an unusual position.
Yeah, it's one of those wards that you're gonna have for its full duration, pretty guaranteed.
Yep.
Very unlikely to get dewarded.
Well, there's your deny of that top tower.
Yep. While Envy is like running around and farming bounty runes and stuff.
While Gyro is farming up the
it's the warrior's
jungle.
way, man. He has to do the warrior's way to anti-mage. It's not about that safe farm. It's about the struggle.
So I'm wondering, though, even once he gets his Battle Fury, how much control will he have on the map?
Oh, nothing. Like
because all tier 1 towers are gone.
It's not about control. It's about being very sneaky. So he's just going to run around and hope that he doesn't get seen by any of the wards.
I hate to tell you, man, but they have, like, Bane and Earthshaker.
Yeah,
if you want 2 guys who can catch him out, and especially when Earthshaker is only 100 gold away from his Blink Dagger, you're in trouble as an anti-mage.
Yeah, but Envy doesn't want to hear about the hardships. He knows about them. He's going to pull through, I believe.
He'll have to be doing pretty strong, man.
Out of all teams, if you're new to Dota, out of all teams that you could possibly choose as your favorite, C9 is the most painful to be a fan of. It actually hurts.
Well, what Nahas was tweeting out as well, like the top 10 gold comebacks for Cloud9, they're actually in 4 of them. 3 is losing and 1 is winning. If you look at us sitting in your edge of your seat when you have a game, Cloud9 tends to give you that.
the previous game, they had a 20,000 gold lead and lost. So that has to feel bad. This game, they're not going to have that problem, though. So maybe it works the other way around.
Very true. It's because LGD kicks in early. Now you actually get double Blade Mail. So both Fader as well as Clockwork have picked up the Blade Mail. But at the same time, I'm looking at a Gyrocopter almost fishing a BKB.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because as I said, what I was worried about this game for C9 is the BKB timings of LGD.
Yes.
And when they are up, your blade mills will count for nothing.
Yes.
So it has to be paying off before that, or just in these pick-off scenarios. Because yes, the 682 HP Leshrac, he will probably die very easily to it. He's very, very squishy.
Yes.
And,
but at the same time, Leshrac isn't going to do that high level of damage when the blade mails are up. He just sits the back lines, uses Force Staff. And he's even got himself a cloak. A cloak. Not sponsors.
A beverage.
Keep yourself hydrated. He's got himself a cloak. So even the initial damage may not be enough to kill him off. Because the blade mail might be like that final nail in the coffin when the lightning bounces.
It might be. They have a lot of heroes that, you know, whether they like it or not, will deal AoE damage.
No tail, the Echo Slam on bottom. They actually had a fresh Glimmer Cape from MMY, and Yao walked in and then blinked in for the Echo Slam kill.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I bring Oblivion. A little bit, you know, interestingly timed here. And, yeah, Big Daddy averaged the 3rd highest deaths in 6.84. Poor boy.
That's a really sad stat. Like, come on, Nox. You meant to make us feel really happy about life and everything. Zhao Wei hook shot up. That Glimmer Cape from MMY. They weren't seeing him there. The Nightmare on the Clockwork. And they could just wind up for the Requiem. Or why not when you got double raises? The Blade Mail went off, but after the damage was done, like one last hit to kill him off. They don't get the stun over on Misery in time. But now that you've got that kill and you've got a lot of people on top, in fact, the entire team, just go for the top.
And Zhao 8 also showing that he doesn't need HP if he just is quick on his Force Staff. He got away, took no damage, and he can also use this item, of course, to defend his teammates against the Clockwork Hook. Having a quick Force Staff against Clock is super important.
Is Cloud9 going for a Roshan? Like, they're three-man smoking.
No,
they're losing tier 2 tower.
I don't even think they can kill it.
No. This is a Roshan
they're gonna heal the anti-mage. Okay, they can do it, but this is the gimmicky Roshan.
The most ultimate YOLO play. If you're ever behind, the normal rule is go and try and take Roshan.
They can do it.
But Misery's also pushing the bottom lane, so this is going to force a TP in from Sylar. Now, everyone's missing from the map. LGD are probably sitting there going, why are they not defending top tower?
What could they possibly be doing
where
right now?
are Cloud9? Like, if you go the normal trade-off, it's Roshan for tier 2 tower
I mean, this is really smart. They're getting something very, very high value here. So as much as we're laughing, this was an amazing play.
Can they get out? Like, that's another question.
Oh,
you're going to blink away, up and away. Fader, however, will not be so lucky. Turns on the Blade Mail, the call down. He doesn't have mana for Laguna. And in fact, Sylar, just in case, triggered the BKB anyway. They'll find No Tail in the trees. The stun from Zhao Wei will catch him out. So they lose 2, but for the glory of Envy, you now have an Aegis the Immortal, and he lives to farm another day.
Yep, that is the case. They're gonna have to rely on Envy in the mid to late game. Envy playing some 1 Protect 4. And that worked beautifully. They got the Roshan. Sure, they died a little bit, but it's still better than what has been going on until now.
True.
And now they have Aegis.
I can't debate that. And if Envy can get himself bigger, if he can... Like, okay, this is the point where maybe we should start looking at the anti-mage of Cloud9. Does he still have to go into a Manta style, looking to burn off the mana of the Leshrac early on? Is he even a concern, or do you go for the BKB? He's going to find Zhao Wei, and a very quick movement away. Envy into the trees, tries to hide 1 second till blink. He'll move up, going up even deeper into the trees on the northern side.
The Blink Shaker?
He's got blink in 1 second time. Now Envy has a TP scroll, is refusing to use it, while Bone 7 destroys the tower. Yao actually goes and fidgets over on Bone 7. He does have Echo Slam, and that might... He can't get close enough. The cogs are blocking him.
He can't reach him. So after Fisher comes out there, he's like, yeah, safe TP. And they do get out. They're wasting time of LGD. So very nice. They're moving around them, TPing down to keep farming with the anti-mage.
He's actually catching up to the net worth of both SF and Jaro.
He definitely needs to go Manta style in this game. Like, you're not
no
relevant in team fight. You can go for the Vladimirs first, but I think you have to go...
You're going late game in this. Like I say late game. Like the rest of your team puts you up for a good mid-late game.
There's no game when you don't want to have a Manta style and anti-mage. You always want it. Definitely against heroes like Leshrac,
He bought a Vlad's
Shaker.
recipe.
Yeah.
He bought a Vlad's recipe.
It's just because he realizes if he goes Manta straight away now, he probably still won't be able to fight. So going Vladimir's lets him keep farming a little bit more.
Envy, they caught him out. The Echo Slam and the follow-up stuns. It's not just one. It should be two with the lightning from Zhao Wei reaching him. The Agency model, it's a Fiend's Grip from MMY. You thought maybe a second life was enough to give you space. It will not do so, though. And he was 200 gold away from the Vlads.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for him. And of course, this tier 2 tower looking very compromised right now. Gonna run up and put down Nether Ward. Are they gonna try and defend it? Maybe.
Well, there is that Nether Ward down.
They're still thinking about it. A lot of spells were committed to kill Envy and Bone 7 there. If Bone 7 respawns, they can fight.
Well, they can just do it with the physical damage. Maybe he's got a double damage rune on this SF.
Okay, they're just gonna let him.
And they triggered the mech early on the Fissure. A 3-man stun from Yao. He caught the line perfect. And Misery being brain sapped up after being Nightmare prepared. And Sylar, well, okay, Rocket barraging Bone 7 with the BKB. The cooldown is going to connect, and he doesn't take the damage. Actually, he does take the damage from the second rocket, but he's back in the safety of his base. And with the Misery buyback, C9, LGD back out.
C9 just has to invite LGD to return the favor, you know? Like, have you seen our Fountain? Have you met Fountain? Okay, they're gonna back out.
Match made in heaven.
They're gonna back out. Roshan, of course, not available because of C9's cheeky little play right now. So bottom lane should be the next objective here as the tier 2 is still standing. No reason to go high ground too early. Even if you're against an AM, make sure you don't stress too much.
Yep.
Because they can definitely punish her.
Yeah, just be comfortable. Like take the farm in the jungle, push the lane out.
Look at that money. Like, he actually managed to recover really nicely.
Yeah, he's almost a call. If he gets that BKB, then again, the Blade Mails won't even affect him. Not to mention Anti-Mage, Mr. Vladimir's offering, who he has bought it now. The courier's going to transfer it to him. He's up in the Dire jungle at the moment.
Yeah.
Should we just TP more up? Yeah, MMY and Sylar already preparing for the defense on top lane.
Yeah. But that also means that C9 managed to avert the tier 2 bottom pressure by just going up here and pressuring aggressively.
There's your Nightmare, starting on Bone 7, use the Glimmer Cape to get in close, homing missile and call down, the Fissure follow-up into an Echo. Well, not even the Echo, it was just a normal totem stomp. Middle lane, Envy, first stun. Do they have enough damage before he can blink? And the answer is no. He is running himself away, maybe had that double damage, which is why I thought maybe they would have enough.
Maybe, but the Vladimirs provide some good armor. He has 15 armor before the presence of the Dark Lord, so he's pretty hard to bring down with the right clicks. And of course, Spell Shield works wonders as well. But this, this Leshrac plays an interesting, like, semi-core role, as you said, because him and Shaker are both pretty rich. Playing around Envy.
Envy is like surrounded. He's surrounded by 3. He's just going to blink into the trees and TP out. Bound no tell. He won't be so lucky. He does have a TP scroll available. Try and juke it around the tree line. Decrepify. He's waiting for the stun, but the stun's going to be the final death blow from Zhao Wei.
This ward keeps pestering them. But still, though, with all these deaths happening, they're still trying to keep the pressure off. But now, finally, it seems the LGD are going to try and get the tier 2 bottom. Can they set up for top in any way? Not really. They need the clockwork.
It's kind of impossible as well when you're going into a gyrocopter, because he's just going to pop BKB, call down Rocket Barrage, and even having that Eagle song now just casually sitting on him.
He's so strong.
Yeah. You'll probably find yourself dying 2 heroes to probably just get the 1.
I mean, this game, every trade and everything that happens, you have to go from the disaster perspective. You have to think, okay, the game was absolutely terrible, and what can we achieve now? They do have a mech on their Pugna.
Just the issue is it's 25 minutes in.
It's a mech on a Pugna.
Zhao Wei, well, a little bit too close. They're going to pick him up, throw him back. Force stuff, he'll actually die.
Very nice. Misery picks up 707 gold onto his Rubik and shared gold in the AoE there as well. So 1,285 gold for 1 kill. I'll take it.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And that's a slight overextension. But before Zhao Wei died, he bought his full BKB.
Yeah.
So he doesn't lose any money for it at all.
Yeah.
He just gives money for it.
Well, C9 are going to be fine with that at least. They just want to get something back. It's the only good thing about losing really hard is you get a lot of money. A lot of money when you kill someone.
Sylar's trying to force Envy out here. He actually started a homing missile in the tree line.
It's got to follow all the way.
Yep. But it at least lets him know where Envy is for a very, very long time.
It's going to point towards the target. Yeah.
Script knows what I like.
Yep.
Follow the globals.
Yep. Definitely. Oh, he's here. I like how he just turned so sharply like, oh, over here, boys. Okay, so let's see what LGD are trying to do right now. They have picked up an item on Shadow Fiend in terms of the Yasha. And he actually has the full Sanch Yasha on the courier. He's going to deliver that after a TP scroll.
So perfect timing. Like, it's actually perfect considering he's going to need all the life points he can get up against Lina. Because it's now an Aghanim Scepter for Fader. He's not a level 3 Laguna Blade, it's just a level 2 ulti at the moment. But that's going to be where you might be able to get that quick pop and give an advantage during a fight.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the fact that you can do it through spell immunity. You can do so much damage with it.
You still just have to be careful about that disjoint nightmare.
Yeah, of course. Like, you can't really prepare for that, though. Mamaya was just a beast in that fight, being ready for it. I mean, Shadow Fiend still died in the end, but he took a lot of resources, a lot more than was initially intended. So, Anti-Mage farmed up to 2.2k gold right now, probably going to go into Yasha after his Vladimir's. He does reveal himself here.
Envy?
He pops the BKB.
Yeah, it's a 10-second one. Envy, well, he's got mana for... okay, he's got mana for Blinks.
Xiao was like, there's no way this guy's going on me alone, right?
I think he actually wants to try and kill him. Like, Envy's gone in so deep into the tree lines, turns on the Edict.
Oh,
now, Xiao, does he? Does he? No, he does not.
Always try. Just try. For us, dude. For the casters. For the fans.
Silas almost finished a full butterfly. He's got 2,300 gold.
Assembling all their arsenal so that they can go high ground in one convincing manner.
All they got to do is wait for next Roshan, really.
Yeah,
and Roshan doesn't spawn for another minute.
Yes, Aegis is definitely one of their
I should make that 10 to 15 seconds is when Roshan spawns.
That's a big difference, Toby.
It is. Or 45 seconds, amazingly.
And
Math is easy. Smoke's going to break, and do they actually see him? Okay, now they don't get a glimpse of the smoke, but they do see Fader coming out of it.
Oh boy.
Meanwhile, in middle lane, Eternal Envy caught out by the entire of LGD.
They might just skip Roshan, actually, and just go a little bit now.
Yeah, go for the GG push. Even if you force a buyback out from Anti-Mage, which he doesn't have. Actually, there's no buybacks for C9.
That's the test. You test if there's a buyback. If there's not, you're going to force the tier 3 tower, maybe.
Yep.
And if not, if he does buyback, you just back in Roshan.
This is when that creep wave has to die before it hits the high ground. And one got up. The backdoor regen won't turn on now. It just got close enough. Bone 7, we just had. He's coming out of the side inside the trees. They forced off MMY in, and then the hook shot down. The cogs, they actually BKB and forced off everybody back out, apart from MMY. Back underneath the tower, Gyrocopter just gets popped by the Lina with the Bane down. Who needs Eternal Envy when you got the rest of Cloud9 to defend?
That was such a good play by Bone 7, Fada, all of them actually. Misery and Pugna, of course, doing their work as well. And they just won a fight 2v5, or 4v5.
Yep.
Against LGD. That was okay.
And now Cloud9 have to make sure that LGD don't just slip themselves in and take Roshan. And you'd probably also think for some dire defensive wards, like this one ward they have inside the Radiant jungle is now getting dewatered by Misery. So they understand both Pugna as well as Rubik are hovering around the jungle.
New meta. Only 2 Linas in 1,700 roughly games have picked up the Blade Mail. But, you know, if it works, it works. We'll see. Now he actually has some items at least with the Aghanims, 2.8k gold and Blade Mail. Some pressure on the bottom tier 1. Doesn't seem we're going to have one of those hero towers that lives still 65
They'll
minutes.
fortify on this Nether Blaster or else they lose the tower. Or actually, no, the tower remains alive. Misery blinks into the tree line and away to safety.
That force stab as well by No-Tail, he just barely got across.
Deny the tower, deny the tower. The creep wave's going to kill the tower. That's like so much money they're going to let have.
Money.
Now they jump in to take Roshan. So it's like, okay, who cares about towers? You can have the money. We're going to take Roshan. The creep wave is spoiling this, though. And Bone 7, like, is he going to pull a Bamboo?
He has to. If you get the chance to, you should try. You can definitely trade your life for an attempted Roshan steal or AD steal.
The pulling of the Bamboo, by the way, is just the YOLO play. Hook
He's got to
shot
go
in,
for it.
and no, Leshrac, he actually goes in! 4 stars maybe up! The Cog push back into the Nightmare! The Dido kill him! Aegis the Immortal is underneath the fissure! Bone 7 will die! The Aegis in the hands of the Jaro, but maybe is trapped on a hill till the Force Tubs come back off cooldown. It was worth a crack.
It was worth it. I mean, you should always try for that if you're Clockwork in this scenario, because he's dead for 30 seconds now. Of course, the enemy's going to try and push with the Aegis, but for just 25 more seconds, I think they can spam out and keep the base safe. And besides, if you do manage to steal it, it's such a big impact. It's one of those medium risk, extremely high rewards scenarios.
Yep.
A Blink Dagger on Shadow Fiend now. So with the Fisher and Cogs and stuff like this throwing down on the ground, he just wants more maneuverability. He wants to be able to get in there and deal his right clicks. Of course, with a BKB as well, he can blink in an ulti.
At the same time, though, I see the man on Envy, and I'm seeing an Anti-Mage get into a position where this game is going to get massively drawn out. If you're thinking that this game's going to be over before an hour, grab yourself a beverage. It's probably not going to be the case unless Envy blinks into MMY like he did. They could follow with a Fiend Script. The Slave just showing the fact that he's there, and there's the Fiend Script. Edict, stun, Envy with a call down, and Laguna Blade. Leshrac will pop, but you lost Eternal Envy for that one.
I like how Fada is just like, hey guys, what's going on here? Oh, just zaps away the Leshrac, but still a trade that LGD would happily take any time of the day.
That's another minute without Envy. But it's also probably more important the fact that Envy's down for a minute. You think about how much money an Anti-Mage can like gather from just killing creeps and waves in 1 minute. Like you're losing at least 2,000 gold from that.
You're losing a lot of golds. Like the fact that you die and lose golds from that, and then that you're not farming, yeah, it deals a very heavy economic damage. But it's not too bad for C9 since the Leshrac died at least. There is no high ground pressure during the time that Envy is dead. It's just that the enemy team is farming, and you have to play defensive with the rest of the heroes.
It's just also looking at the KDAs. The bottom two, it's a 0.84 Pugner, but it's a 0.4 Anti-Mage.
Hey man, I still believe.
Not even an assist. He hasn't helped to get a kill. He tried to snipe one in the mid when he came in for the Mana
He tried
Void.
to steal one, but he didn't want to help.
But it's the plan of like what Cloud9, like what they like to do, and what most teams when they play an Anti-Mage would like to do. It's like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna go farm as Anti-Mage. Like I'm gonna try and slip behind the defense and just grab whatever kills I possibly can.
And that is why we have a thing called...
You guys deal with everyone else.
That's why we have a thing called typical AM contribution.
Yes.
That is... It was more of the thing when people actually played Anti-Mage a lot.
I think Envy might be dying here.
No.
It's an invis rune. He's going to TP. He's going to leave his illusions behind and just TP out. But MMY had an invis rune.
He's a mastermind. Look at that.
Actually, LGD, this is one of the best positions for Cloud9. Look at the two wards, that one ward in the mid. It's just seeing the high ground nicely as well as the back part of the lane.
However, they do have this little... thing called the gem coming in here. It's just gonna pick off the Radiant Ward as he walks over here. So Radiant Ward is gone.
No, he's not holding a gem. The gem's on the Curry. They didn't bring it with him.
Oh, he had the gem, but passed it back to Curry before he backed down there. He had it when it was on top lane.
So they didn't lose it during the fight. It doesn't really matter because they go in maybe. A quick blink up doesn't trigger his BKB. He was trying to get the Blade Mail and the other BKBs out, or whatever they've got out of Cloud9. And now Xiao Wei backing up from these Mandra illusions. Sylar, the hook shot comes in from Bone 7 trying to isolate him. But Sylar is still standing his ground. The Force are pushing him back over the cogs. And Neko Slam in from Yao. Envy is locked. He's going to have his 5th death of the game. Or will he? The Glimmer Cave. He blinks away. Fader is being Fiend Script up. He is the first casualty of war for Cloud9. While the Aegis was triggered from LGD. They keep going on the racks, but they're ready to go again. Well, are they? The Fade Bolt's trying to keep the creep wave off the tower. The Nether Walls are making life easy, but Big Daddy in a nightmare of a world. Back behind. Yep, there's your buyback from the Lina. Back to the front line. Sylar with a Glimmer Cape being pushed back and forth by Cogs and Fisher. They'll see him. Where is this catch? Where is the ability to get the extra kills? Blink up from Envy. He'll send the illusions in. Misery's too far away. LGD are away from this.
Oh, Toby. That's really harsh that they couldn't find anyone there as they were pulling out. So LGD actually get away after losing their Aegis, of course, but still dealing some damage, taking away the tier 3 tower and almost killing range racks. Harassing the melee racks doesn't really matter. They're probably not going to be back before it's full HP again.
Yep.
Maybe if they regroup immediately, but it's more likely they're going to wait for the next stages.
Wait for the next big damage, dealing out him on Sylar too. You can pick up his Demon Edge now with 3k gold and that Gyrocopter.
He needs both damage and HP though, because look at how easily they burst him every fight. He needs the Satanic very badly.
He's actually going to go directly for that. There's your Reaver, you're right.
It was not really a surprise because every fight he's been punished by this Lina. Fada has been doing a good job just going on him with the ulti, bringing him down.
This just adds more pressure though to the Shadow Fiend. But he does have 4k gold over from this SF. Is this one of these games where you just go for tankiness and say, you know what, let's just go for something like a Skadi as opposed to...
just walk in?
Yeah, as opposed to picking up something more like the Monkey King bar. Because it could be a Butterfly coming in from the Anti-Mage next.
I believe Skadi, Butterfly, and actually Assault Cuirass are all good options for the SF.
Okay.
Any of those will work well here.
LGD smoke time.
Pugna living life on the edge.
He's going to TP. Doesn't break the smoke of anyone from LGD. You also have Eternal Envy in the neighborhood, and then blinks up. Still no smoke break, and they're blinking around trying to see where the smoke's going to go, and nope, they're all home safely.
Yeah, everyone gets back home, and
we get our answer for the SF. It's going to be a Daedalus build.
The Daedalus going straight into the damage. Pretty sensible choice as the Reaver comes out from a gyrocopter, going into more damage. It works really well with the Necromastery, because all that 72 damage that you have stolen from Necromastery will be added into your crits, of course, and you can crit that.
It's also a good way of making the most out of your stun times, because you kind of want to kill them up before the rest of C9 can arrive. You might just have like the Earthshaker control, the Shrek control, and then the Bane. That's it. You're out then.
You know what they need in next team fight?
What do they need the next team fight?
Some True Sight against that Glimmer Cape. That Envy got away because they returned the gem. I mean, yes, you don't want to give back the gem to the enemy team, but they didn't deward, and they also didn't have vision against the enemy carry.
But who do you give it to?
Just blinked away.
Like at this point, you almost want to give it to Xiao Wei because he seems to be surviving the longest out of everyone. Like, maybe he's going to be a big target now. The Gyrocopter was already a pretty big target.
I think it's still fine to have it on Bane, honestly.
On Bane?
Yeah, he can just run in with it. Because if they go on Bane, that's fine. Every fight, they're just going on the Gyrocopter. They're going on the Leshrac. They're bringing, you know, they're trying to bring down these important targets. They're ignoring the Bane a lot. I mean, even Shaker, he has 0 deaths. He has not died a single time.
It's a good stat for Yao. 6-0-11.
Yeah.
That's a really nice day. Misery.
Oh, Fisher.
Oh, no, he actually went. Oh, he actually Envy. Envy's in the, he's got no blink. He's got well, he has blink.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a TP scroll at the moment.
And they actually looking
and
for
MMY's going to find Bone 7 in the tree line. And, well, where's your stun? There's a blink into the Totem Stomp. Bone 7 called out. With a follow-up of Shrek stun, he's going to go down. While Envy is now moving towards the Dark Zone.
There's a massive amount of space created in this. I mean, they chased them for so long. Clockwork, once again, dead for 35 seconds. But that just means Envy's going to farm the enemy jungle. When they push down mid, he might even go and hijack the mid creep wave.
Is this enough, though? Like, okay, so Envy's going to get big.
He has no TP. He needs to.
Yeah, he kind of needs to get
Don't
TP.
C9 this.
Okay, so Envy's going to get a lot of farm. But I'm not seeing it being enough to handle both a Gyro and an SF. Even with, like, a level 3 Laguna Blade Aghanims buffed up attack, it's still not enough. And then you throw, like, an Earthshaker on top of all of this, who could cause severe havoc for your entire team. And Earthshaker is actually building a BKB of all things.
Envy has the tough choice now, actually. Like, when it comes to itemization here, there are so many things that he needs. I think he's going to have to farm one more item before he becomes really relevant.
He's going BKB.
Yeah, he's going to go BKB now. He is thinking about the buyback, whether or not he wants to keep that, so he does keep it. But yeah, as I was about to say, it's extremely hard to say BKB or go into the Basher or go Butterfly. Those 3 would be the ideal choices.
The Basher would make a lot of sense, but at the same time, like, if he goes in for Abyssal Blade and this SF, well, I suppose the SF's also in a position where he's feeling pretty 6-slotted. So you're probably not going to see a Butterfly out from him anytime soon. It's just save the buyback and end the game.
Yeah.
But you're already up against a Butterfly and a Gyrocopter. So the rest of your team has to do the damage against him to kill him.
Definitely. So this is probably the best choice, just going into the BKB first. But until he has a Basher on AM, he can't really bully one guy that hard. He can run after them, but there's not that good disables on the side of C9. Unless they steal Fisher with Misery.
True. Cloud9, what's the battle they're up against? It's almost 13 to 14,000 net worth and just over 10k in the experience. It's not as bad as it was for LGD in the last game, but at the same time,
winnable.
There was definitely a couple of things in the draft that was working well for LGD in that last game.
Yeah. Oh, looking at this Rubik, Misery might actually have an Aghanims in this game. He has 3,000 gold Blink 4-staff mana boots, and he keeps farming on the lane, so if he gets Aghanims, he can have a massive impact. Look at all the good spells he could steal. And Roche, of course, being taken here. Aegis over on the side of Gyrocopter. Leshrac picks up the cheese.
Leave the casual cloak back in the well, but don't worry. We've got Yummy coming out to pick it up.
Yep.
Our courier for LGD.
Beautiful little boy. And Fada is just like digging some paths on the top side of the map, just cutting himself closer to the creeps and running around.
Well, any kind of creep skip or pick up he can get, it's going to be worth it. Like, you'll see Zhao wait in the top, but now also maybe 2 hits. You've seen that crit going to work. Light Strike Array won't do anything. Not after maybe gets the BKB off. So SF, free gold, and also that's a long time on the sideline for Alina, but her buyback's coming off cooldown in 15 seconds. So she can be back for another fight.
Yeah, definitely. And 81 seconds. That is not great, actually.
She's seen the reaction from C9.
They're gonna
force
have to
the bottom
this.
lane as much as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Push the top lane as much as you can, and then come back to defend.
You know what's gonna happen when someone gets picked off with that.
Oh, Envy!
The Divine!
He's skipping BKB and going for a Divine Rapier.
He's pushing with it.
Are they gonna do it?
They don't want to fight. They want to push.
They can't do a base trade. They cannot do a base trade in this one.
He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't have a TP.
What?
He has
No!
a Divine.
We're C9ing this!
Go!
We're actually going in! He's gonna take tower and go for the tier 4s. We're turning this into a base race, or LGD just play the defense. They pull back. Yao, here comes your Laguna Blade. He's almost dying while they're still ravaging the bottom lane. Fader trying to run out. They've taken out bottom racks. Envy's gonna go to work right now. LGD, where are your TPs? How are you coming back? Silas on the first TP out. It's actually a Rax for a Rax. And Bone 7, there's his TP out. He'll be successful, and Envy actually gets away to safety. They buy space and get a trading racks. What is this?
They buy space by buying a Divine. This is the most insane play. I have actually never seen that move before. That's some weird YOLO shit going on here, man. Okay, so he definitely needs to BKB as soon as possible now, because he's running something that he cannot lose.
Yes.
And when you're
it's not sustainable.
When you're 0, 4, and 0, split push is the name of the game, so he buys the Divine to do it.
At that point, I think we also have to flag the fact that LGD, there was a surprise factor. LGD would not have said, yeah. Any mage bought a Divine Rapier. He's going to have some good damage when he pushes. What ended up happening was LGD, they push in, they take the racks, and then they just stop in the middle of nowhere going, wait, why are we losing our base so quickly?
Yeah.
Look back, he's got a Rapier. Who's got TPs? I think only like 3 of them actually had TPs at the time.
Only the true C9 fans would have seen this one coming.
Oh.
Like, I'm still trying to recover from this. What is this? So the question to me is, what do you do? Next fight, you have to take it. You cannot split push again. He buys up the entire BKB. He doesn't even have room for a TP scroll. So fighting this fight, now it's all down on this fight. It's an all.
Wait, so is it actually just down to the fight, or is it going to be... Well, you're right, because he doesn't have a TP scroll, so he can't just TP back. You can't go for the trade-off. Yep, this is it. This is going to be the moment for C9, the test. They smoke up, so there's no vision for LGD to get that early advantage. The Netherward drop Bone 7, hook shot in, but Xiaowei force up away at the same time. They pick up Sylar. Remember, he's got the Aegis plus the Satanic. Triggers the BKB to Laguna Blade. They're going to bring him down. He did not use Satanic, but he did use BKB. They've still got time to defend this one. Now Sylar back to World of Living. They glimmer and force up him away to safety. So LGD get into a more comfortable position, but they burnt their Aegis, and
Good
what was lost?
so far.
Laguna was lost. That was it. And hook shot.
Laguna, very low cooldown as well, 30 seconds, and that's going to be up again. So LGD, do you want to keep pressuring here? They don't. They're actually backing off. And we have a Demon Edge on Gyrocopter. Are we going to see more Divines this game?
It's what? Okay, so in the first round of games, I'd say the first round being game 1 of all of the series, Knoxville came in and said 4 Divine Rapiers were purchased. 3 of them, actually, was it 3 of them or 2 of them were in our game? That was basically, we had the majority of them, and we've already got another one.
Yeah, we're blessed with the C9 Divine games.
It's almost a shame there's no predictions inside for the main events and the compendiums, or else everyone, actually, maybe it's a good thing, everyone will be crying right now.
Yeah, magic ends here.
Oh.
The only time he has ever bought a Divine Rapier before was in a 201-minute epic game, the longest game ever, where they lost to Scary Faces.
So you can say for the 2nd time in the history of Dota.
I mean, that was some 40-minute Divine anti-mage before BKB, before TP scroll, you know, like, that's some crazy play.
Let's see what happens now, LGD. The smoke move. Everyone, 5-man smoke up. They have the way to get in through the mid, but they cannot get high ground vision. Sentry wards, observers are down, and Misery's also holding on to the gem of MMY.
And 5.4k golds.
Yes.
I mean, Misery
why?
Misery could buy so much right now, but he wants to have buyback very badly.
He could even go for something like a Scythe of Vice at this point.
He should go Aghanims. There are so many good spells. Like, he can steal spells from very, very, very far away. When you have Aghanims, it gives longer cast range, and it also reduces the cooldown to 2 seconds. So,
yeah.
Going from 16 to 2-second cooldown on the spell steal, I mean, it makes a world of difference.
Cloud9. It's not a Roshan attempt. He's not alive yet. This is a wait for LGD to walk up this staircase and then create death moment.
Don't call it a comeback. Let's do it.
They're backing up. There's all of LGD. There's a 5-minute, and they blink into him. Misery, 2 hits from maybe. BKB's expecting some kind of attack. Bone7, a hook shot TP out. He'll be away to safety.
Can we just highlight that that was a blind blink in with BKB? He knew perfectly that he was there. They saw them move into the jungle, yes, but he didn't know that he was on that hill right then and there.
Yep.
That was some play. Very nice by maybe just killing off Rubik immediately.
The game sense.
Yeah.
Either that or it's lightning fast reflex, because he BKB'd the second he arrived from the hill.
Yeah, exactly.
So he might have just been whoop, straight away. Okay, so Envy. He's almost got buyback again.
Yeah.
But then again, does that even matter? I don't think it does when you got a rapier in his hands.
No, not really. You don't save for buyback. If he can buy anything that makes him stronger, he would, but he doesn't want to really sell the Vladimirs, I think.
What's the courier doing? It's a point booster for Misery. Yep.
Yeah.
He needs the point booster for it.
Oh, they're on the hunt.
No, they saw it. That's the dire observer ward that was watching it, but they can't get into the tree line and kill him.
Yep, it's going to get away safely.
Okay, so at this point, Envy's next item, should he look to Boots of Travel? Like, is that actually the way to go? Because right now I'm seeing Cloud9 becoming massively claustrophobic.
Yes. Like, Boots of Travel next would be the item here. However, you got to keep in mind when split pushing, there are so many things that can pick you off. There's the Nightmare, Fiend Script, there's the Shaker, Stun from Fog of War, there's a Hex on Leshrac.
Yep.
Basically anything can catch you, so it's more travel so that you can push and still join your team. But not really, like, split push too much.
Here comes LGD again, and not a single observer ward on the field for Cloud9, so they are blind while they farm.
9 and 29. LGD have not been able to close this game out. I want to give a lot of respect to C9 for still being in this game after the disastrous laning phase. Like, that's actually really impressive.
Where are you going, Envy?
Oh,
He's
they
so
want to fight this. It's just...
He blinks up to him as they're walking down the hill. MMY actually already used, like...
If you got a Divine, you got to show it off. You know?
What? Nice pair of shoes?
Yeah. Check out my bling. It's so nice. So they're just still defending, trying to play safe and play around, but they're still... C9 needs a big team fight before they can actually threaten high ground again. They got the sneaky racks. It won't happen again because LGD now know about the Divine, know about how fast he can push.
It's still going to be really difficult for this defense. If I actually check out right now the buybacks of C9, everyone but Clockwork has it.
Oh,
Clockwork's only short by 300.
Rubik.
He's out of position. There goes your 3-hit from maybe to finish the job. Actually, it was Leshrac who took the last attack.
SF got 2 crits in a row there. Mid?
Yep. They jump in. There's your Fiend Script. They hold Fader. Hookshot up, but it only connected on maybe with Fader. The BKB's helping him survive and even move back with the extra Glimmer Cape. They've committed quite... Now the fissure, stolen by Misery. They're force-staffing him away as fast as they can. The Fadebol's still kicking in. And LGD... They're poking and prodding, looking for the opening, but cannot find it.
That was a very nice save onto the Lina there by Bone7. He was actually medallioning her, because I was wondering, how are you not dying to the Shadow Fiend right-click? And then I look at her, and she had plus 20 armor because of their item build, the Blade Mail, and also the fact that they had Vlad's and Medallion there. So even with the SF presence, so much armor on the Lina.
LGD is going to be so sad. They got a double damage room, but Roshan's spawn time was about 30 seconds away at the time.
Yeah.
So they're incapable of getting that. By the way, Rubik did buy back during that fight, so his Aghanim has obviously been delayed. Don't know if you mentioned that, but it's Fader's getting more and more money as time passes on. He might even get to buy a new item and still have his buyback if he wants to.
Yep.
Clockwork will sacrifice his buyback for a Solar Crest, but that's perfect. You can throw that on the anti-mage. The poor man's butterfly.
Definitely. Poor man's butterfly is still very good.
Do you actually now think that Envy could go in for something like a heart and just have the Solar Crest on him, like when he jumps in?
You need attack speed. Like, you have so much damage, but your attack speed is still only the part that you get from Manta Style and Treads. I honestly think that going Butterfly still is a good choice, even against the MKB. That could be a choice from Sylar.
They're doing Roshan. But this, like, Envy's just going to go up.
Yep.
He's attacking the tier 3 tower, and fortification will be used. The TP's are starting to come back. Roshan is dead. Aegis Immortal in the hands of Sylar. Xiaowei still bringing that cheese back again. The tier 3 tower, the Echo Slam. They catch out Bone7. The Cogs drop as well as the Fiend Script. So you will be bringing down the Clockwork here, but your entire team returns to your base. and you do not find any other core but the Clockwork.
That's an interesting trade, right? So they get the tier 3 tower top and they lose their Clockwork, but at the same time Roshan also died and they got the Aegis on LGD. So LGD pretty happy, but their top lane is now more exposed, and maybe Envy...
Envy has a new item. It's a Monkey King bar.
Oh.
He bought a full Monkey King bar.
He wants to be able to kill the Gyrocopter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you get MKB, Rapier, Manta, Battle Fury, BKB. So the only item now which he would change out would be Treads for BTs. And that's only if you feel, in fact, you probably even keep the Treads. So he BTs back to base and switches over, so he's got them for the fight.
Yeah, you can change the Treads, and later on, at a very late stage, you can also change the Battle Fury into a fighting item, because you don't really need it to kill creeps later on if you do have good attack speed and damage items.
Unless you turn this game into a split. Yeah, you're right. Once you get the Mjolnir, they'll still give you your push power and your damage.
Yeah. That's true. He could also go into the Moonshard, of course, when he has plenty of gold.
Very true.
Because he needs attack speed very desperately.
You just consume it. That way you don't have to worry about it. You get your attack speed and you still get your BTs.
I think everyone got happy when Moonshard was introduced as an item. They're like, yes, we can do something when we're gear capped.
It actually makes Anti-Mage better than just
any late game hero.
Because normally Anti-Mage just tails off at 55.
Yeah.
Now he's got something.
See how they can take this fight. Keep your eye on the Clockwork and how he initiates in this fight. It's extremely important.
We've done this previously. So round 2 for LGD. The Fissure, Sylar close. They forced half him in. Lacuna Blade. Sylar pulled so deep in, but remember, he's got the Satanic and he's using it. But how much life? You've actually got another jump. It was the Clockwork keeping the rest of LGD out, but maybe hitting Fader into the grave. Sylar finally brought down by the Fable of Misery, but the Aegis Immortal will bring him back to the world of the living, and they continue to fight. Buyback in from the Lina. In comes Eternal Levy. The damage on Sylar. How much work can he do? He even got mini bashes. They bring him back maybe as well. A mini bash on him. He's so low, the mana void. He's got full mana, so it won't work, but they get the kill. The SF's down for the count. Echo Slam. Jump in from Yao. The double stuns. Big Daddy. So low. Fader as well. The Blade Mail. Try and turn the damage. Now Envy. Turn into a chicken. Zhao Wei getting stunned up. Fader from the low ground. Doing the work. Now they move over to Sylar. On the run out of here. They're burning his mana. They have another stun. No, the Life Structure rate's going to miss. Eternal Envy can jump. Mana void is available. They may just need it to actually control him for a moment. Blink in 1 second time.
Is he going to find him?
Yeah, he jumps the wrong way. He's running down, not up.
Yeah, but that's amazing, though. What a fight. Can I just call out what an MVP Misery was in that fight? He played so good. He shut in the enemy in his base, shut out 4 enemy heroes so that they could not come in and help with that first Fissure. And then later on in the fight, a Fissure that stunned 4 heroes as well, allowing Misery or Envy to just hit everyone.
Where are you going, Envy?
Beautiful.
Does he have damage?
Backdoor? He does.
There's backdoor. Okay, yeah, yes. The answer is yes. He can battle the backdoor regeneration. He'll take a range Rax and then blink away. The rocket's going to connect, but there's no real follow-up because it's only Sylar left. And you've also
Vayne is respawning. You have to respect that.
Yeah.
He's going to back out, I think.
But you got what you wanted. Like, you actually thought, okay, range Rax isn't the best thing since Alakazam.
And they
but
didn't lose
it's still
Rax.
good.
They didn't lose their bottom racks as well. They held that during all that chaos and during all those high damage output heroes. Leshrac Edict.
It's gonna happen again.
Oh, dude!
It's gonna happen.
Oh, we gotta get.
We hit a plus 20k net worth and experience advantage for LGD, and it's done to arc.
Like, are we gonna have 2 games in a row where we have comebacks of 20? Like. Let's not call it a comeback. Let's not do that. Let's just watch.
it's a point where if we were currently in Key Arena, the crowd will be giving everything.
I've never seen something like this 2 games in a row. This is actually crazy.
It's a huge series. It's such a huge series. What a way to start the mainstream as well. We already had the greatest start for the wildcard match. And in the last game, we were having a great old ball.
Oh, this TI is already better than the last TI. Like, it's
that
actually,
was the thread yesterday.
Yeah.
Believe me, I was there. This is better.
Yeah, it actually feels so amazing. Could not be more hyped. So right now, they still have to play this. You know, the funny part is Envy, even though he picked up his Divine and starting to do a lot of work in the team fights, he still only has 3 assists. He doesn't have any kills.
Man, okay, this is the point too where LGD have to understand that they need to be able to hit a lot harder, a lot faster. And I think Sylar is looking at like either like what is it, Daedalus or Rapier. Like these are his only 2 choices that remain.
Yeah, I think so. He needs to go more damage. He needs to just go straight into Divine, I think.
Yep.
Just counter Divine to with Divine. So
it's probably the only thing you can do, because
there's
imagine
smoke
what
hanging in
Rubik's going
barracks.
to do when you've got a rapier over that Envy. Oh, he got a double damage rune.
And there's
He's
smoke
actually
hanging
going to come in.
barracks.
They're actually going to come in. There's fortification available here for LGD, and with them all together, they're going to beat through and backdoor the racks. The fortification comes, but this opens up for future opportunities.
away.
Oh, he's just over that. It's the Fissure. It stops Bone 7.
Yeah, they caught Bone 7. Maybe they can catch up. They have a lot of stuff
He's
like
got
Force
4
Staff.
stuff. Echo Slam. Marnavant wanted to wait till the Creep Wave was there. There's no Fissure available with Rockets. Bone 7's dead.
He's the sacrifice.
Yep.
They forced out a glyph, traded for Bone 7.
Yep, worth it. Look at the bottom lane. The Creep Wave is pushing in so heavily. This is the C9 advantage lane, and LGD have to come back to defend this. Either that, or you're going for a GG push.
Yeah.
But if you do that, Animate's going to buy BTs and go into your own base and take your tier 4 towers, or potentially just your mid-racks.
Yeah, this is such a hard game to close out for LGD. I mean, it's still 13-35, and they've had such a big advantage the entire game. 57 minutes into the game, C9 are holding on and outplaying them over and over with less resources.
When Envy's that far forward, I always get concerned. Xiaowei could just force off into that side device. Like, Leshrak's got so much money up his sleeve. Every single hero for LGD is doing work.
Yeah.
But the same thing can be said about Cloud9. Like, Pugna, like, even if it's just a Netherward, it's still helping him out.
Oh, the heroes are coming together beautifully, especially the Rubik and Clockwork working together are having a massive impact in terms of controlling the fight, pushing, stunning, all of this. And even just the Solar Quest coming out as well from Clockwork. No, they, like, both the drafts are synergizing really well. However, C9 are able to play around LGD a little bit more.
Is it time, Sylar? Is it time?
It is. Like, just go
Oh,
ham.
no, he's going Abyssal. He's going Control Factor over on the Animates. This still works.
A lot
Animate's
of
going to come in
damage.
close, and you get good damage. It's fine.
Yeah. Abyssal Blade on Gyrocopter is actually very strong. If you don't want to go for that Rapier, scared of the enemy maybe being able to burst you, which they can. They have Lina, AM, and Clockwork. You are an easy target for these heroes. So going into Abyssal Blade makes a lot more sense to Divine. This is a smart choice by LGD and also brings a lot of damage still.
Yes, it's a nice combo, but this will be his last item. There is no more. Then we have Sylar being Moonshard. Yes, there's always the Moonshard.
And Travel 2.
He's got BTs. Oh yeah, Travel 2.
Travel 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then maybe there's some more things he could buy then. I'm 100% wrong.
I'm sure he could buy some salves and go Slazz's way.
Yes. What's he got?
There's always space
the
for that.
compendium achievement for healing. Salves don't work. 5k gold over on Eternal Envy. Now, is this the point where he starts looking at his Battle Fury?
Yeah, it is. Like, it's the next item that you could possibly get rid of, because your BKB, you crucially need it in your fight. He has used it once this game, so it's not that you're gonna need it a lot of times, but when you need it, you desperately need it.
Man, to actually have such a long duration Battle Fury. You got 9 seconds when we're hitting the hour mark again in this game. Like, it's almost unheard of for a BKB, unless it's brand new.
I think moonsharding it up first, and then going into travels, and then switching the Battle Fury is possibly the build.
We're almost at a point, too, where maybe might consider building into a Satanic of his own.
Yeah.
Because he's got 5,600 gold and a Blink Dagger.
I'm looking for,
that's the only item he would sacrifice out of what he's got.
That is true.
Even the 5-second BKB is still going to be worth it.
God, it's truly AM up against these two extremely strong carries in the fact of Gyro and Shadow Fiend. They hit extremely hard, but Anti-Mage plays around them, and he has the Divine. He's the man with the golden sword.
Look at the money on Leshrak. He's actually got an ultimate orb as well. This could turn in to being something like a Lincoln Sphere and just protecting else. Oh, Bone 7, they catch him out. The Hex from Xiaowei, the stuns and the damage. Just so good. I actually think Bone 7's the only real man to die in the last 20 minutes for Cloud9.
Yeah.
I say real man, like not like that.
Are you saying that No Tail doesn't count, or
just
what is
because he's currently halfway to the Melk Award.
Yeah, but he achieved that in like the first 15 minutes, so he's been actually playing very safe later on.
This is just so dangerous. I like the timing for this. Roshan's up in 20 seconds time. You just lost Clockwork. That's your scout ability of Roshan.
I don't even know which Rosh this is. There's been so many already.
We've already had 2 cheeses.
Yeah, so it's 5th?
I think it has to be 5th.
Yeah, 5th.
I'm waiting for a nod from
Roshan.
like Scriff.
Scriff is just giving us the...
Scriff doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain it's 5th.
He's giving us the subs on left, subs on right. That's the... Okay, let's see. Roche up, and Sylar is actually checking it now. He has 5.8 8k gold, so he has the surplus enough to buy his Abyssal Blade.
Yep.
I wonder if they just give the Aegis to Leshak here. They pretty much have to.
It would make sense.
And
he's got the
cheese
slot.
on maybe...
I'll give it to, like, just leave it on one of the supports. Like,
Mama,
leave it
yeah, maybe.
Actually, they gave it. Wait, what did he... He dropped the Monkey King bar to have the Aegis the Immortal.
What? Okay.
And now he'll buy up.
Well, then you would want to
Abyssal
Divine
Blade.
more than Abyssal. if you drop the MKB, you want to Divine more than Abyssal, I think. Because now his damage is still the same as when he had the MKB.
Yep.
It's lackluster at this point.
Maybe we got to look at this from a different angle. Where LGD is like, okay, if we're going to go high ground, we need a sponge.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to buy one more
MMY.
courier and keep it close.
MMY, he's walking into him. He doesn't have Blink available, but Yao holding onto the fish. It gets a stun over on Misery. And Misery, he actually saw Fiend's Grip, but Yao jumps in. Laguna Blade almost gave him the kill. They've lost the bait. There's that Fiend's Grip going to work. The Earthshaker control, maybe being pushed back by the cogs of Bone 7. Zhao Wei, he has to use the cheat to try and stay alive here. Now it's a 2-for-1 trade-off. The Clockwork still ended up dying.
A lot of disables removed as well. LGD don't have them.
Yep. Someone get rid of that one super range creep. It's chasing them and giving all the vision away. But they have to get back anyway. That melee Rex had come under siege in just a moment.
Range creep is on to you.
Hey, where is Zhao Wei going? He's moving out of base. The observer ward gets deep watered.
Yeah. And,
so they lose their vision.
C9 are now finally getting to feel like the aggressors in this game. For really the first time in this entire game, they are the aggressors, not just the rats.
Look back at base, look back at home. It's in trouble. They're trying to creep skip this, but you got 2 catapults and a huge wave coming in. You take out the tier 2 tower in mid, but the creep wave's about to take out your tier 4s. You have to come back. And if they're not careful, oh no, Courier! Courier!
Oh.
Just the Cardi!
Yeah, they micro in. That's fine.
You can't micro catapults.
yeah, they micro courier. But they're gonna back with it.
Alright, so they push him back. Sylar's still in a horrible...
Yeah, Sylar needs to have his MKB as well. This is such a tough... I think maybe when he has the Aegis, he should just drop the BKB and play without the BKB until he has Aegis gone. Because honestly, his damage is not high enough to take a fight right now. Without the MKB, he's not going to hurt much. But that said, though, there are some low HP numbers on both sides of the teams. Like the 1000 HP over on the Pugna, the 2000 HP on Antimage is not super high for an AM. But this game, man, it's crazy. I think LGD are shook by the fact that that Divine happened. Because ever since, they've been playing reactively. Like, they've slowed down.
They're not the ones calling the shots anymore. I think they realized, too, the ability for trade-off against Cloud9, they're giving respect to C9. C9 have been in this position many, many times.
That's what happened. Envy buys that Divine, he's the alpha male now. That's how it goes, man. The respect is gone.
There's one way to look at it. But you'll only be a real alpha male if he buys a second.
Yeah, well, if we could only walk into a room and say, hey, you need one more.
What would you do? Sell the Battle Fury for a second Rapier?
Sure. Oh, top lane. They're trying to set up to hex him. Blinking in. Fiend
This
script.
could be it. They need support. Clockwork missed the hook shot. Misery's in the neighborhood. And Envy, he's
The
dropping.
Divine?
He's down. He is gone. The Rapier is on the deck and in the hands of the Shadow Fiend. He'll lose his Butterfly for it. He uses BKB. It's almost worth holding onto that Butterfly.
Yeah.
And now, where's the extra support? The Echo Slam. They managed to find another one. It's the Rubik down for the count. This could be the moment. The SF is dishing out almost 700 damage a pop.
Yeah, he's hitting so hard. That Daedalus is just crazy. He has the Moonshard as well, of course, so his attack speed is decent despite dropping the Butterfly. And yeah.
Look at the play. So this is Cloud9's way.
Yeah.
Okay, so
down the bottom lane.
If we can't fight them directly, now Animage does have a buyback available.
Oh,
they just make sure the bottom lane's pushing in. Now, Sylar bought second level BTs.
Yeah.
So he will TP into probably the SF or whoever.
Exactly, a reliable TP that you cannot stop as if you TP to a creep.
But what a timing for Fader.
Yeah.
A refresher up. You got double Laguna Blade. I believe with that he can he can
Is
pop.
it enough though? They're going in now.
He can kill the track. This is the moment.
Oh,
this is the day.
They shouldn't get too anxious about this Rax. Rax doesn't mean that much. It's just about how you take the fight.
They're trying to be safe.
Yeah.
They're just trying to be safe.
Yeah, they're trying to wait for Envy, but it's 30 seconds. It's a long time.
Envy won't buy back unless they contest the third Rax or they go for tier 4 towers. And he'll always wait until Cloud don't initiate.
He will have to, though. They're going to mega creep them if he doesn't buy back. But they're going to go now. They're looking for it.
Here they come. Misery jumps in, picks up maybe Fade with the BKB. Laguna Blade 1, Laguna Blade 2. Maybe dropping low. They want the rapier back. Eternal Envy getting stunned.
Oh,
He's down.
no.
He's down. That could be GG. They've lost everything. It's 4, almost 5, and GG. LGD will 2-0 Cloud9 in a very intense game too.
Has to be one of the most emotional losses. The dream was so real, they could touch it, Toby, they could taste it. But that means that in the LGD versus C9, LGD 2-0 taking 3 points.
What a game. What a game to play. Cloud9, LGD, they get the big points. Love them for it. We'll get to have ourselves a breather, as I know you're going to be back with the panel in just a moment. But the next game coming up, I'm excited. You'll be excited.
But my nerves can't handle this.
We'll be back. Handle it, Waga.
Jesus.
Find your handles. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
What a way to start day one.